Hello, welcome. I wasn't able to stream yesterday, which I forgot to announce on previous streams. That's my bad. If you're part of the Discord, I let people know there, so if you're interested, you can join. No pressure, but you do get updates there, as well as links to the VODs and links that I go over on streams. I'm not always the most consistent, just depending on what I have going for the day. But I try my best. I do have an aversion to technology a lot of the time, which is ironic being on this platform. But there you go. It's another day, another stream in fascist America. Welcome to whatever this is, an attempt at providing education, advocacy, and a little common sense in this digital wasteland. My name's Aubri Devashrayee. Juniper is joining us today, Miss Tiny. The tiny one. Oh. She's so cute. All right, today's Culture Corner. Ooh. I'm excited to talk about many things that I have been wanting to go over for a while, but I wanted to get this in because the stuff that I want to talk about with culture just keeps adding up over time, and I'm like, I can't go a week without discussing things. So we're going to talk about the Met Gala, various opinions on the Met Gala, the event itself, whether people should or shouldn't have attended, what it means for culture overall, celebrity worship, beauty standards. We'll also talk about Meg the Stallion and the man. I don't even want to say his name. So there is some discourse that I want to get into about that. Just for the record, he's an idiot. A complete idiot. We'll get into the details though. And then I want to go over some new music that I'm excited about that I heard a few weekends ago. We went to this bar that is like a listening bar. It was very hip, but also just cool. And they were playing some really great music there. And that's like the point, is like to discover music that you don't really know about. So there's an artist, Lowrider Cumbias. Oh wait, no, that's the name of the album. What was the name of the group? The band. It's Turbo Sonidero, I think. I need to look up which is which. Yeah, I'll look that up. To be announced. There's an artist, musician named McKinley Dixon that is extremely talented that I did not know about and was just blown away by his music, especially like the variety and just sheer alchemization of his music, of combining so many different styles and doing it in an original way. And then I also found out that his biggest inspiration for music is Toni Morrison, the writer. And we are embarking on reading The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison for Banned Book Club. So, like, this is fitting to include it as we are talking about Toni Morrison and her genius. How we are so blessed to have her art, and artists who are inspired by Toni Morrison, I think tend to be great artists. So I want to talk about that. Also, cover some Daisy music, specifically Riz Ahmed. He is an extremely talented musician, actor, producer. Um, he was in the show Bait. I mean, he's been in many things, but he was also in a film adaptation of Hamlet that I did not know about, and he plays Hamlet. I love Hamlet and him, so I need to watch that, and I think I'll post on the Patreon for those who are interested. Anyway, he has incredible taste. He helped write the show. He stars in it, Bait, and he also helped choose the music. And with him having great taste, the music is incredible. So I want to cover some music that he includes in the show, and then get into some of the origins of Qawwali music, because there is some really stunning Qawwali music that he chooses there. Oh, did I already mention we're gonna go over cumbia music? Oh wait, yeah. I mentioned the musicians, but also like we'll go over the history of cumbia. And then I want to go over some Iranian music and Lebanese music. I think this is important to do as the US empire is having all of this illegal, immoral, unconscionable, imperialist aggression along with Israel, that we center the people, center culture, so that there is more humanizing that is happening rather than like letting human beings become numbers with fatalities. So we'll be talking even more about that next week, but that's a brief overview. And then also finish chapter 22 of The Scarlet Pimpernel. So that's what's going on. Today I put my hair through this like ponytail hole. I don't think the hats were made for that. But like if you were socialized female, you just used it for a ponytail if you had a low ponytail. And this isn't what I would call a ponytail. This is like a full tail, a filly tail, a colt tail. Just very little, but I don't know what's happening today with the look, but here we go. I also need to replenish these buttons. They keep falling off. Anyway, to get to everything that we've going today, I will be watching things at a higher speed when we're going over people who are speaking or providing a history, and then I'll slow things down again when we get to music. So I saw this recently, just sharing my screen, of a Gen Z creator saying that millennials need to go to boot camp for social media etiquette. And I was like, oh, she does not know what she just opened the floodgates to. People who like literally invented cyberbullying and the platforms that people are like, oh, you should be doing this and this. I think, and this is kind of a running theme. This isn't like true for like, we're talking about generations with like these very sweeping generalizations, right? But there does seem to be like this running theme among millennials, at least, of saying that like Gen Z are jealous of some of the things that millennials have done, but like it comes through millennial cringe, or like some things that can come off as cringe are to people who are Gen Z. It's just like millennials not caring what people think. So I saw this video. I thought it was highly entertaining. So we'll watch this. Just to call out, this woman is speaking in or using a lot of AAVE terms, which, granted, has become even more of a phenomenon of non Black people co-opting AAVE with the rise of the internet, people now claiming that it's like internet slang. It's like, no, that has a history, and without acknowledging that history, it perpetuates a lot of harm. And, commodifying Black culture. So anyway, let's get to it.
Handle how many tank tops we used to wear on top of each other. Our scarves went infinity. Limited to, the limit did not exist how much we went into that store. So much body glitter, we blind your ass. I use so much cucumber melon body spray, I got a garden down there now. Twisted my damn ankle on platform sandals, whale tail for days. Fleece from Old Navy, so performative, it was like a Broadway show. We were daring, we were weird, we did animal print all over this bitch.
You're trying to do crazy stuff on the internet to go viral on TikTok. Meanwhile, we were risking jail time with our bootleg CDs that we downloaded, risking our home computers with viruses to get music off of LimeWire. You will never know the slap of Radio Jungle.
This creator came online to say that a Gen Z need to start a boot camp to teach millennials social media etiquette, what to do and what not to do. They need to learn from the Gen Zs. And millennials came and said, hold your horses. Who are you talking to? Who do you think you are? We are the blueprint for social media. We started this. We run so you can walk. From trends to music to
I think it's time somebody start the series called Millennial Boot Camp, where I, a Gen Z, tell you what we're doing, what we're not doing, social media etiquette.
Lady, I was coding the theme and layout of my MySpace page before you existed. I have YouTube videos that are older than you. I joined Instagram 16 years ago. The most ByteDance shares owned by one person, he's 43. And need I remind you that Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, is 41. We don't live in your world. You, quite literally, live in ours.
Okay, have you seen the little girl on TikTok who's over here lecturing millennials about how they don't know how to do
the
social
little
media
girl?
And she
So
wants to send us to
condescending.
boot camp? Okay, first of all, get a nice warm glass of oat milk and sit down, little girl. We need to have a talk. We millennials, we birthed social media with our founding father, Tom. We didn't even know who he was, but we
Tom
were
on
friends with him. And
MySpace.
terrifyingly, a lot of other older men on the internet as well talk about ASL. But anyway, we were
Yeah.
out here coding our MySpace profiles before your parents even coded your DNA. And our MySpace
Wow.
was like the Hunger Games. If you didn't survive our top 8, you were a loser. And guess what?
Yeah.
The whole world knew about it. There was no speculation
Emotional
over Alex
warfare.
Earl or Alex Cooper. Everybody knew your beef. Tila Tequila was our Tate McRae. Baby, we ran so you could crawl. You wouldn't know how to code a profile if TikTok tried to teach you. IMG space SRC equals quotation mark. Does that mean nothing to you? We put Facebook on the map with the 2 army hammers. We invented what's on your mind. You're trying to do crazy stuff on the internet to go viral on TikTok. Meanwhile, we were risking jail time with our bootleg CDs that we downloaded, risking our home computers with viruses to get music off of LimeWire. You will never know the slap of Radio Jungle. You cry when a video loaded go
Radio
rant about
Jungle.
it on X. Meanwhile, we were testing our endurance trying to connect to the internet on dial-up, praying that nobody had to use the phone. So don't ever lecture us about the interwebs, okay? If anything, we should be sending you to boot camp. And the only way you're allowed to communicate is with a flip phone and T9. And you sit in there type like it's Morse code. We need to have 2 hands with 1 hand. You're like, and if you were in school, you were under the desk like you were riding a joystick. We made social media, okay? So sit down, little girl. Okay, serious question for all the millennials.
Little
where
girl
were our
again.
parents? I just want to say, my last video was a banger. I was dropping deep cuts. Like, honestly, where were our parents? We were out here running around the internet before the internet even had rules. There were no safety protections. To us, if it had
Yeah.
a parental advisory sign, we liked it. Our parentals
Yeah.
had no advisories. Like, if you can't tell me what 32/M/SoCal means, don't even look at me. We were like 9 years old, being like, I ain't trying to fuck your man. Everybody know he my #1 fan. At 13, we were like, all my stripper friends, all my
Yep.
ex-boyfriends. You think a Sydney Sweeney jeans ad is controversial? Baby, we were shamed every time we walked into a Hollister. And let me tell you, you could smell that shame down the mall. You were conflicted.
You were
between the
shamed just
smell of a
walking
Wetzel's
by.
pretzel and an Abercrombie XS. Now you have to turn off your comments. Meanwhile, we had Hot or Not. We had The Next Bus. We had
Yeah.
Is Anyone Up? Now that is a deep cut. We invented
The brutality of growing up with the internet in the wild west of the digital age really cannot be understood. I mean, things are bad now, but like completely unchecked.
revenge porn. The laws you have now are because of what we endured. We had the FBI
Yeah.
on our necks just for trying to illegally download some Ashley Simpson before the lip syncing scandal. You think Taylor Frankie Paul was a risky choice? We had Tila Tequila making out with men and women all vying for a shot at
Yeah.
love. So do not lecture me about gay rights, because before your pronouns, we had slurs. Slurs that
Okay. Well, we don't, the pronouns thing's unnecessary because gender nonconforming people, expansive gender identity has existed before the internet for, time immemorium. So just throwing that out there, especially in indigenous cultures.
Actually meant something. Meanwhile, we were just like,
As a
sticks and
millennial,
stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
I
Now
have to say
words are
that.
digital violence. Like Lively's out here crying about digital violence. Meanwhile, we invented
And also
digital
with
violence.
Baby.
Listen, I'm not saying I condone it, but like Destiny's Child, we were survivors. And then they want to come and take our culture for memes and act like they know our legends. You know Tiffany Pollard, the meme. We know Tiffany Pollard when she was New York versus Pumpkin. We didn't know where our daddies were, but we were just fine being raised by Jerry. We were out here watching all sorts.
I don't know that reference. I need to look that up. But yeah, before I even knew what the Flavor of Love was, I didn't watch the show that New York was on, that she got famous from. Invented the concept really of like reality TV and like so many different like archetypes in reality TV. I mean, like the reality TV existed for her to be on it, but like how people function within that genre. I have a video after this that we'll watch of Tiffany Pollard reacting to memes, but I wanted to watch this before specifically for this mention, because even though I hadn't watched the show, before the memes there was even a thing called memes, like I remember seeing on YouTube clips of New York and Pumpkin. I didn't even really know what was happening, except I was like, oh, this is dramatic.
It's a smut, doing bath salts and eating people's faces. Now again, I'm not saying any of it was good, and I don't know where the hell our parents were at, but like those were the days of our lives. We survived, we endured, we persevered. And you know what? It built character.
Has anyone seen this girl in the video that she posted about millennials having to take a social media boot camp?
I think it's time somebody start the series called Millennial Boot Camp, where I, a Gen Z, tell you what we're doing, what we're not.
So wait, a Gen Z trying to teach millennials social media? Be so for real right now. We did not just use social media. We built it. Before your Canva aesthetically pleasing templates, we were literally coding MySpace pages from scratch. We had HTML codes, we had broken layouts, we had vibes. If one of us like actually misspelled a word or didn't put a bracket where it needed to go, our entire MySpace page ended up looking like a damn crime scene. You guys have clean downloads. We had LimeWire, we had Napster, we had Kazaa. You don't know the kind of fear that you will feel when your family computer literally starts screaming at you because you downloaded one song. And that one song gave your family computer an entire virus. You guys had iPhone 12s. I had a phone that was the size of a brick that could
Or
survive
multiple
any kind of car
viruses.
accident or even being thrown off a 5-story
Yeah,
building.
I had a
And don't get me started
Nokia.
on T9 texting. I would have my phone in my pocket and I would be sending.
I had my
text messages
Nokia
without even looking,
even
like I was
when people were getting
training for the
smartphones.
Olympics. I was so good at it.
Because
On my
I
way
tend to be a
47 clicks and
Luddite,
prayer. And you wanna talk
resistant to
content strategy? We
technology.
were ranking our top 8 friends on MySpace like emotional warfare. Like it was a hobby. You also didn't grow up with Tom overlooking everything, all of your profile decisions. I mean, that man saw everything. Oh, and he was a millennial. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, millennial. We were in chat rooms talking to random people before a DM was even a thing. I mean, ASL, don't even get me started. You might be good at social media, but really, we're the reason why it exists. I really respect you, Gen Z.
Also-
Truly I do. You guys are actually very creative. But millennials, we are the goats of social media. We built the playground that you are playing on. And
Yeah,
don't
there
forget
also
that.
is this pressure to conform, I think, especially with the younger generations, of like seeing so many things online being like, oh, this is what's cool. Of like before the internet, you had to just like decide what you liked more. I mean, you could still have like peer pressure and be influenced in other ways, like advertisements and television and stuff. But like, it was this merging of worlds of like where you had some people like discovering so many different kinds of people and like subcultures and like alternative cultures that it's like, oh, like subversive things, that it was like a way for people to finally like discover for the first time all of these different worlds. And it led to a lot of people being like, oh, I can talk about this with this thing. And now I think we've kind of come to a point, like, not to say there aren't subcultures anymore, but like, particularly with how algorithms work and how they have been completely co-opted and controlled by billionaires, that like there is a vested interest in what people see. And with the beginning of the internet, when it was the Wild West, we were just kind of exposed to the things that we were searching for more.
Other room before I was 13 years old. You people can't send a fucking email without using ChatGPT, and you're what, 25? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? I am the internet. Another time, LimeWire physically came to my house with a cease and desist. They said if you keep downloading fucking music illegally, we're going to fucking
That's
sue
crazy.
you. I want to see you. I want to see one of you try and fucking text your mother. Somebody from LimeWire is here at the house, wanting to send you a jail.
The dedication to music.
I will not hold my breath though, because I'll fucking die. And not for nothing, the fact that I've been chronically online since what, 05, and still have a better grasp of reality than most of you do. That's sad. That's
A
real
Gen
sad.
Z girl came on here and said millennial needs boot camp for internet etiquette. So let's
Yeah, she also used a lot of AAV as well. I just want to throw that out.
continue this conversation. We used to store our photos in something called Photo Bucket. Taught ourselves how to edit photos on Photoshop. Let me remind you about Neopets. These pets were hungry, starving, but when you try to feed them something, they have the audacity to be picky about it. So I'm like, you know what? Just starve. Y'all wouldn't even survive having a MySpace because y'all would be fighting. That you guys have to pick and choose who's your top 4, top 8, or whatever. I bet you y'all friendship is gonna fall apart real fast. Remember Word document and the little paperclip? Yeah, he was always there. What happened
Clippy,
to him? It's so
creepy.
easy. We have to wait until after 9 p.m. to talk to our friends because minutes were not included. As I mentioned about texting too. Texting were like 25 cents per text, and we had to keep it short. That's why we invented the acronyms, like I mentioned. Tumblr was our Twitter. I read somewhere in another
I mean,
video. in the comment
acronyms
section, it
existed
said we
before that,
invented
but like the
cyberbullying.
texting
So y'all
shorthand,
lucky
yeah.
we grown. We tired. We just want to relax. Stop obsessing over us. Them low-rise jeans, that's us. The glitter, that's us. The tramp stamp, that's us. I
Yeah.
hated those chain mails. Like, send this
Britney
to 10 friends or
Spears,
your mom's gonna
Paris
die. Like, what the
Hilton.
fuck? I hate that. Y'all bring that shit back? That was us too. And in conclusion,
Lil'
you guys did not
Kim.
invent anything. You guys just simply copied
Gen
us.
Z are top 3 insufferable people to exist on this app, and I have never seen a generation so obsessed with the previous generation.
Okay, I think it's time somebody start the series called Millennial Boot Camp, where
I think he
Gen
makes a
Z,
really
tell
great
you
point here.
what we're doing, what we're not doing, social media etiquette.
What? We were growing up. When millennials were growing up, I didn't give 2 shits about what Gen X was doing. I definitely didn't give a fuck about what the baby boomers was doing.
Yeah.
But why do y'all care so much about what millennials are doing? Because how dare you ever come on the internet and say you're going to teach millennials social media etiquette? Y'all don't even have etiquette in real life.
I feel
Yeah.
like millennials are like cringy and like lack self-awareness.
And seeing how you guys are the first generation that are not smarter than your parents, you guys are actually dumber than a generation before you, this take makes sense. I don't want to hear from anyone who is younger than Google. If you don't know what Friendster is,
This poor girl had no idea what she was opening herself up to. Yeah, people who literally invented
if you weren't
cyberbullying.
around for when Facebook had to have a .edu email for you to join social media, I don't want to hear you talk about social media etiquette. We literally invented social media etiquette. I was on social media before social media even had photos. We used to just upload our digital camera up to a Facebook album.
Yeah.
And we didn't give a fuck what was shown.
Yeah.
We were coding, babe. I was coding when I was 21. On MySpace, you had to be able to code. You guys can't even read. We were coding on social media. So the gall of you to tell us what we need to be doing.
This
I've
isn't
come
to
to the
say
conclusion
all
that
Gen
millennials
Z
are
is
low-key
this
the latest
way,
generation
but
out there. Because think about it. When Gen Z is on vacation, we post pics of clubs. When millennials are on vacation, they post pictures of their food. I mean, even
or
boomers are cooler.
like me,
They
I don't
won
post
world wars.
photos ever, really,
And you shut the fuck up.
because
You guys
I'm
are
living
so
it.
boomer coded. It's insufferable. Like, it's really insane the takes that you guys have. We don't need to be posting photos of us in the club, bro, because we're all 32 to 40 years old. You should be posting in the club. I'm on my holiday, enjoying my fucking holiday. But you know what we did for 10 years?
Also, if you're
I
spending
posted
more
every
time
single
on your
image in my
phone-
of me in the club, and we're the last.
Okay, I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. If you're spending more time on your phone in the club than you are, like, being there, dancing, socializing, drinking, whatever, like, engaging in the activities that are available at the time, like, why are you there? That's what I don't understand. Is, like, just going to places to, like, have proof, like social currency, rather than, like, experiencing things. Again, this isn't how everyone is, but that's my
Generation to
take.
actually go out and live life without having to film everything. You guys are actually really fucking dumb. And it's the fact that you guys aren't drinking and you aren't having sex and you aren't living your life because you have a fear of being filmed every day. I don't know. I've never.
I think people are also not having sex, like, just to throw this out there, especially for young women, Gen Z women, of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, people being less likely to want to have sex because it is like quite literally a very dangerous activity that can be life-threatening. And change your whole trajectory of life if you have autonomy or not. And also with the rise of the manosphere and all of this white male grievance that these young men have bought into, that, like, of course, why would you want to fuck them? Why? So, like, less opportunity. Also, I've said this in the past, but with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, like, I predicted, and many other people did, like, the disintegration of a lot of, like, heteronormative relationships and courtship, if you will, wooing, and how, like, having sex and being, like, interested in someone physically often was an incentive for young men to actually, like, learn how to be nice to girls or women. And, like, as sad as that is and, like, cynical as it is, like, it did make it so, like, they actually had a reason to want to engage. And now they're like, oh, girls just don't like us, I'm incel. It's like, you realize you created that situation, right? And you're just, like, unwilling to, like, ask someone how they're doing, learn about them, wear a condom, heaven forbid.
Understood the thought of being obsessed with a generation that you copy everything from. You copy everything we do. You dress like us from 15 years ago. You use all of our slang the incorrect way, especially black slang, AAVE. And you're trying to distance yourself from us by lying and saying you aren't, like, we're lame and you're not. You guys are fucking
AAVE, especially queer AAVE,
go out, live your
like
life,
ballroom.
be young, don't care about what we got going on. Create your own things, your own trends, your own lingo, your own everything, and go out and have fun. These videos are actually really fucking sad. Wow, you're gonna teach the people who created social media how to use social media? We've invented cyberbullying, but trust me, you don't want that smoke. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, I haven't seen that post about the Gen Zer who basically said that all millennials need to get into a boot camp and she gonna basically host it so she can tell us what to post and what not to post on these apps. Yeah, post was taken down because the millennials of all ages basically hopped on that shit and said, baby girl, you don't even know time.
Was taken down.
Anyway, I was on that post looking at the comment section and the funniest shit I seen was somebody said, we used to rank our friends publicly. If that wasn't the era of social media, I mean, it's like, we were really cutthroat. Millennials are the reason why that there's rules to social media right now. The fact that we would literally know we didn't got cheated on based off our MySpace top 5. Baby, you go right on your MySpace page and change your song, because what? Craziest shit is, y'all, millennials are really like the people on social media that I feel we don't even really be doing too much. We don't even do enough. Actually, we just be chilling. We just be watching because honestly, we tired. We really is tired. But it be people like her who come for us. And then I read comments like this and remember who we really are.
And also getting it from older generations. Like, I realize Gen Z, like, and Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, all of these generations, like, when you're young, you just will always be picked on by older generations. But it really is unique in this way for, like, a younger generation truly to be so interested in an older generation. I mean, like, we can talk about boomers, but usually it's just about them, like, destroying the world and hoarding wealth, particularly white boomers. So
number 1 to 2 real fast. Say that in the comment section, but I thought that shit was so funny because damn, life was so simple. We were so messy, shady as fuck is what we were. But I wouldn't be any other generation but a millennial.
I literally can't cry. The way that millennial bootcamp girl tried to come for us.
saying, like, come for you, that's AAVE.
Oh my god. Let this be a lesson. For the rest of you, let this be a lesson. Don't fuck with millennials, okay? Don't fuck with us. Have a nice day. She thought it was gonna go for us.
So Gen Z, respectfully, right? We don't need a social media etiquette from you or any generation for that matter. We are
hello, Linton.
But you guys
welcome.
Making this whole internet platform and this whole
streaming on
culture thing
a different day, but like to get some culture corner in.
Refined and more
How are you?
Sophisticated, because we are very sophisticated, but you guys made it more edgy, if that's the right word. So I think
this is a video that's like responding to someone on TikTok that was saying that millennials need a social media boot camp, and like millennials like just like went in, and like the consistent theme is like you don't want to upset the generation that invented cyberbullying, because I think most millennials just like don't care enough to be like I don't care about trends.
We both,
Some
we
do.
all contributed.
And
We are all still
many Gen
contributing
Z
because
people are not
evolution is
like
still going
that.
on. The next generation will come and will also, contribute to something new. So I don't know, but this
Getting
is just
some
so funny
rest
to me.
in.
And I
Keep
don't know why
chugging
Gen Zs
along
are
on this work.
always
Good for you. All these
have something to say
projects you
about
have going
millennials.
on.
What did we what did we do? Like what did we do? Anyways, let me know what you think about this story down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.
All right. So this is Tiffany Pollard, New York. She was mentioned in the previous video, where someone was like, younger generations only know her as a meme. We actually knew her like as it was happening. Like I was first exposed to her by just watching a clip, like watching clips on YouTube of her and Pumpkin fighting, and I didn't know it was happening. I was too young to be watching that shit, but that also is like the essence of what it means to grow up with the emergence of the internet. Yesterday was certainly a day, though. The UK is truly filled with idiots. I know. Honestly, you all are starting to catch up with us. That's not a good thing, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. It's not... Like, the worse... As things worsen in the US, the worse things get. Like, naturally, just, like, around the world, people are like, oh, this is allowed? We can do this? And it's like, no, please don't. But, entitled, power-hungry capitalists are going to do what they do. And their supplicants, their brainwashed followers. Hope you're hanging in there.
Beyonce. I mean, Cardi, Beyonce. It is me. It is she, the original HBIC, Tiffany, New York Pollard, of course, and I'm about to watch some of my most iconic moments.
She is an icon.
Okay, here we go.
That's just the truth.
My name is Tiffany, and I'm from upstate New York originally. I'm 23. I am totally a princess. I was born a princess. I do things my way. I'm very sweet and nurturing, but I'm also like an evil bitch, too. Don't hate on me because I'm attractive. I know it. It's obvious. I will let you know, hands down, I will be the first woman touching him. He's gonna love me. I'm gonna love him, too.
Yeah, that casting interview.
Okay, so you want to know
spectacular.
What that was? It was me coming from upstate New York, knowing that I have to A, make a lot of money, and B, walk away with this man. So I was just basically pushing all the assets that I had, my looks, my intentions, and I knew.
Yeah, she really is an icon. Blueprint for reality TV. There is some optimism, though. It's only local councils and reform's track record is horrific, to the point where even during this reform wave, the places they were in power before are less enthusiastic. So by the general election in 29, hopefully some idiots change their mind. Yeah, and honestly, like, at this point, I just have to say it. Older generations are moving out of this plane of reality. That as they are shuffling off this mortal coil, like, hopefully we are getting an electorate that is less invested in just clawing onto the power and wealth that they have. That's not to say that, like, younger generations aren't that way at times, especially, like, when we consider the manosphere bullshit. But yeah, hopefully there can be even more education, and people are very activated right now. People are very angry, so that is building at the same time. So I like that perspective that you have. It's like, yeah, things are bleak, but also it's forcing people who normally might not be engaged to, like, wake up more.
This was reality television, and I know if I was going to fall back, I would fall out of the house. So I had to make sure that I was going to be the one constantly getting that camera time and vying for his love.
Yeah, smart.
So calculated,
smart
so
and entertaining.
Like, I just knew I had to be present. Because I'm a small town girl at this point, I wasn't used to the glitz and the glamour.
Yeah, when she said that she was from upstate New York, it showed the Empire State Building. That's not upstate New York. Upstate New York is, like, in Buffalo and shit. It's not in the city.
And the mansion, but I knew I had to make a splash and stay. Oh, please. Don't make my mascara run. I was literally scouted walking down the street of Hollywood Boulevard. I was shopping and I had about $30 in my pocket.
Green electorate are also not the brightest.
He came out of nowhere. His name was Terrence
General
Martin.
voter
And he
base
walked
in my
in
generation.
to the store. He was like, you would be
Yeah.
perfect casting for a show.
I think
said, get away from me.
that can be similar
I wasn't attracted to him and I was already with another man.
in the voter base here as well.
But he said, trust me, give me your information and your life will change.
Where it's like, if it's not like national news, then people aren't interested. But like, we have the most impact with local engagement.
Your name is New York. Like, okay, wow, that was creative. He didn't create a name for me. He just heard where I was from. It was like, okay, yeah, that's your stamp. I'm like, why are you calling all these other girls, you know, delicious and sexy and crazy and all these beautiful names? I'm like, okay, I'm New York. You know, it was just like, all right, I hope he gets turned on by the city. Oh, yes. Buy me a new jacket. You know why you took it? Because you feel threatened. You know, at least, you know what? I might be a to the heart, but at least I don't smile in all these girls' faces because are a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm not a wolf. You see me coming.
You guys are just jealous because all of my friends that know me tell me that I remind them of Beyonce. So
oh my goodness. Beyonce. You look like Luther Vandross. I still get requested to say these words to this day. It's been 21 years ago and still people like request me to say that about Hottie.
Which it is like, admittedly, like fairly transphobic to be like, you look like a man. And she has a few moments of that. But also, it was very much the time where that was very present in not just what she was doing, but like all of society and culture. When I get more time, I'm gonna be kicking down doors on the campaign trail. Nice. Yeah, making sure that we don't repeat shit. Exactly. It's like where people, as we are understanding the risks that are involved, like the stakes, we're more determined than ever. And we also have something more to fight for than what all of these fascists are supporting. It's like we actually care about human beings and not destroying the world. So, like, that is something worth fighting for. I'll be out of uni by the general election. And with the job market, I'll probably have all this. Oh, I know. I'm a millennial, and I am even having a hard time in the job market of finding something. But especially in the US with all of this, like, anti-DEI of, like, having they, them pronouns, being a queer person, having a first name that's associated with being female, a last name that's Indian that many people don't recognize, especially in Utah, where it's like, this is what happens in fascism. This is the intent. It's to force people out of public life when they aren't sending us to concentration camps. I actually got to engage with my party membership. Yeah, and I mean, it's always with, like, as you have time for things, like what your capacity is, and like that can change over time. So, like, being kind to ourselves in that way, like engaging where we can, because we do have limited capacity and time. So.
I did not believe she said that. None of us was ready for that to be her response. And when she said Beyonce, we were like, really? Like, oh my gosh. But she held it down. I think I could have been a lot worse. I think I did give her grace. I think I gave her a slight mild read when it could have been
Have you
so
had
much
to
worse.
reply for any IDs? Luckily, no. I mean,
from the beginning in this competition that
I have run into situations where, because like my driver's license, it looks very femme, and especially like I tend to, like, if I'm out in public, I'm not presenting much as femme as like what I will sometimes do on the stream, like if I'm staying inside, and that is primarily because the whiplash in how society receives me. People are so much nicer to me. And it's like really it can be like really wild to go back and forth of like the treatment of like when you're presenting in a way that's like more cis for people or that they associate with being cis. So my experiences with IDs are like people like using it as an opportunity for like public humiliation of like, are you sure this is you? And then like me being worried they're gonna like call security or like the cops or something. But yeah, especially for people who are trans, not non-binary, um, where like being non-binary, sometimes there's a little more like wiggle room for people, but it just depends on like what their perceptions of you are at the time. But especially for people who are trans that are transitioning to being presenting more male or more female, that they run into a lot of issues. Like there is a state, which state is it? I should know this. That recently, is it Missouri? I think it's Missouri. That recently just like nullified all of trans people's driver's licenses. And the people who are like, you need to leave if you don't like it here. It's like, okay, so we can't leave because we don't have passports and driver's licenses or anything. I almost changed my pronouns on my passport to they them pronouns because that was actually an option at some point, and then I didn't because I needed to like speed up the process. And the whole like declaring two genders after happened, so like that would have been void and I would have had to reapply for a passport. So like I was very lucky there. I've been very lucky in that situation, but many people are experiencing exactly what you're talking about. So that's at least what I have experienced. It could be a whole lot worse for me, and is for many people. It just is disgusting because it's like the point is to force people to conform or force them just out of public life, out of jobs, to put us in homeless camps and used for cheap labor, or in prisons also for cheap labor, or sent to these concentration camps. So yeah, it's bleak. But, you know, it forces us to organize. It's so horrific. I saw an Instagram creator was contacted by the FBI for spreading radical gender ideology. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, so just like existing. And yeah, that's what it is. It's like they are trying to make it illegal to exist as a queer person, but especially a trans person in general. It's like, and this is what fascists do. This is what they have done over time. Like, that's something that, like, many people, especially in the US, don't get taught about Nazi Germany, is how queer people, gay people, yeah, gay men, gay women, trans people were sent to concentration camps, as well as Romani people, that, like, Romani people were almost completely wiped out because of like multiple genocides that have happened to them that somehow we don't really talk about in history because that's the intent. Yeah, and like Jesuits, people who are disabled, brown and black people that don't get talked about. It's like, and of course, these are all the people that happened that were targeted before they got to people who were Jewish. Existing the same way people have throughout all of human history. Yeah. Sadly, humans are not that creative when it comes to their cruelty. Like, we were talking about this in a different stream with Toni Morrison, saying that, like, human cruelty and evil is pretty boring. And it gets, like, way too much attention a lot of the time rather than, like, the goodness and, like, the heroism that happens. Like, that actually is a lot of work and, like, very interesting and inspiring. It's easy to be cruel. It's not easy to try to be a good person. We even see different gender expression and sexuality in other species. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's not an accident as well that like gender expansiveness and like acceptance of like matriarchy and queerness that happens in a lot of indigenous cultures and societies, that colonization does not benefit from having the existence of these things when a lot of it is based off of heteronormative white supremacist patriarchy. So yeah, but yeah, nature is queer as fuck. Like, people are changing genders all the time. Not people, animals. They're like engaging in like queer relationships, and like somehow that is just not talked about. It's so bizarre.
It was very important for me to stand alone.
But that also
always,
shows why they
because
try
that
to
shows Flav that he has a
keep
solid
people
woman in the house.
uneducated.
Like, I could literally remember sitting on that bed, being so uncomfortable, being provoked by all the other women in the house, and not knowing how I measured up. Because one thing about Flav, he didn't see all of us before he had to make his final elimination. So you were just on pins and needles, and you didn't know where you were gonna land up at, you know, when it was time for the elimination. So I just remember just being so on edge. Me on that bed, I have made so much money from that meme, recreating that meme, doing a whole line with that meme. Like, that meme, we recreated it for Fenty Beauty with Rihanna. Like, seriously, that meme has like really went worldwide, national. I love the one on the bed. I think that's
And
my
she
favorite,
still
but then
hasn't
it's
made
also
as much money as what
and then it's also the Gemma
she
Collins
should
Big
have
Brother read.
from all
Pretty
of these
much, I will
memes.
let Gemma know that she is a fat and the shoes that she gave me
You
were
shouldn't be
not
saying that.
something that I would particularly buy for myself.
Like
they were
the fat
old
phobia.
maiden type of shoes. I get that all the time. Like,
The
that's
old
main
maiden
staple.
type of shoes is so classic.
Whatever, I don't give a I'm still in the mother house. I'm still in the mother house. I don't give a I give a because I don't.
Yeah. Also, the part right before this where Flav, because she got to the final and Flava Flav doesn't pick her, she is like arguing with him. She's like, what the fuck? And then she flashes him. She turns around and flashes him. And right as she does that, like, there's a strike of lightning that happens. It's so dramatic, but perfect. The biology of clownfish would fry the average right-winger. I know. And yet they're like, let's go see Finding Nemo. That it's like, how about we talk about Finding Nemo in the terms of, oh, this is the mom and the dad. Huh? We could have done that. That would have been very accurate.
And that's another big meme. Does it look like I give a because I don't? People tell me to do that for their birthday. If somebody's, you know, pissing them off, like, that is the most requested video to reenact. One of them. I want to say that this generation is very good at sniffing out bull. And I feel like they still resonate with me, and I didn't fake it. I wasn't like trying to like stay in a category. It was like, okay, no, I'm pissed, here we go. I'm sad, here we go. Like, if you live it in a way where it can come alive, it's still gonna live. So that's why it's living on.
Yeah, she's authentic and it's just herself. That's why people really like her.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, the frosted tips. Very much of the time.
You can look at
Yeah, this was her
New York and tell
own
she
show.
ain't come from no Cro-Magnon, man. There was a divine wisdom that put that together.
Oh my gosh, wow. More than half of them were there for fame and stardom. But
Yeah.
I didn't care because I knew that at least there was gonna be 2 or 3 guys that were there for the right purpose. I feel like in those moments, and you know, having my mom by my side really helped.
I'm gonna take off these captions. Did being the showrunner change your overall approach? Oh, I didn't know she was a showrunner. But yeah, she included her mom, which I love. And her mom is, you can tell why she is the way that she is. Her mom is
A lot because
so
it kept
funny.
me, like, she was more so knowing this man is not here for you. This man is not here for you. And I needed that because me, I'm like jumping up and down and really looking for love. But at the same time, I knew that the contestants were going to be there and wanted to be on camera. I mean, this is
Yeah,
at
you have to
the
make a good
highlight
show
in
at the same
surge of
time.
reality television where there were breakout shows happening everywhere and everybody wanted to be the next breakout star. So you're going to get a little bit of that in the house. But the producers were very, very in my corner. Absolutely. I could speak to that. It was Buddha. Buddha.
Oh wait, what was this? Did the contestants really climb through the window?
I could speak to that. It was Buddha. Buddha would climb through the window. This is a man from season 2 of I Love New York, of course. All the other guys would go to sleep. Buddha would just make his way through the window. I'm like, how the hell is he climbing up this man mansion. He would literally come through the window as if he was the reverse Rapunzel. I'm like, no, go down. Don't come up. It was sickening, but he didn't care. And things happened that shouldn't have happened when he came through that window.
So it worked. His strategy worked. She saying, like, locking and throwing away the key, like, you just told us, essentially. Finding Nemo was accurate. Nemo's dad would have turned into his mom since the absence of a dominant female clownfish. The largest male would turn into a female. Exactly. Exactly. And then Nemo would still be fine. You know what? If there had been a more dominant female clownfish, I don't know if Nemo would have, like, been as rebellious. He may not have even been kidnapped. So there's that.
Oh, wait. Are you serious?
Yeah, it just feels so right. I just know I love you and I want to marry you.
Oh my God.
You should be my wife, Fuda.
When this man proposed to me, hey George, oh my goodness, I was not expecting him to propose. I mean, we had feelings for one another, but
Or maybe if,
attacking him in the
like,
house.
as Nemo matured, turned into a female, and then was able to be more effective with escaping. I don't know.
At this time, you know, there was a lot of fist fights. They were
Not
fighting
necessarily,
before I got up and
but
had my bacon and eggs in the
could
morning.
happen.
I just would hear screaming between him and Buddha. But because he like stuck it out and wanted to be with me, there was no way I was not going to say yes to his proposal. And I really liked him.
I want my eggs cracked, meaning I want a child. I want my name dropped, meaning I want to be married.
Yeah.
I'm not
I haven't seen this clip. I want my eggs cracked because I want to. That is such a wild way to. This is why she is commemorated in all of time with these incredible memes.
with you. I am not your bed maiden. I am not your maid. I am not your floozy or your.
These men do not know how to court an HBIC. This is all just first-hand energy of what I had to deal with straight on because I'm the type of person that knows extremely
Our message
exactly
is
what I want.
UKIP's here, working hard with local.
Why do they always look like that? Ugh.
Our message is UKIP's here, working hard with local communities. Sorry, Reform is here, working hard with local communities.
The
And
eggheads.
I've been doing this for the last 15 years, from the UKIP days all the way through to Reform. Our message is
Yeah, they always do. And I really think like being fascist like sucks the moisture from your body, especially your skin, your epidermis. Even without the context, we know that smile is menacing. Yeah, you can just see the bullshit in their eyes too. They don't even believe what they're saying. And that's how you know it's a grift. It's like, and they wonder why young people are shifting ever more left when like they're forcing us to.
From jump. And if you're just so slow with it and you're not keeping up, this is what you're gonna get when you're trying to take me out to dinner. It's not gonna be an easy dinner. Like, no, you're doing the swallowing and I'm doing all the talking.
Do you still want your eggs cracked?
I mean, at this point, X Crack for me is me starting my farm, which is a personal goal that is happening that I'm working on currently.
She's starting a farm?
I'm the original
What?
HBI mother C.
This is so famous.
And I deserve my spot here in the House of Villains. So I need y'all to keep me here. I don't want a sympathy vote. I don't need a sympathy vote. But I need y'all to understand the pecking order. I mean, for me, villain is a very positive term. It just means someone that's not gonna stand down, someone that's gonna stand up for themselves and others if need be.
House of Villains is a show where it's like reality TV villains, and a lot of the time, like people who are viewed as like villains, it's a production choice. There are some people that I'm sure are like genuinely like nightmares to deal with on set, but also you can have people who are more outspoken, willing to stand up for themselves or stand up for other people or speak out against production, that they get the villain storyline.
And just be, you know, challenging, be thoughtful. Villains are very giving. I give so much, and so do other villains. I feel like I really tried. I feel like I came out of my shell a lot for season 2 of House of Villains. I lasted pretty long. I mean, obviously I didn't win, but I was there for the long haul. So I feel like my efforts really helped.
Are they going to show the monologue?
I think I was second to
Happens
leave.
after that?
Season 2, I made it to the finale. I feel like the chaotic backstabbing in season 3 literally is like trumping season 1 and season 2. Because these villains in this season, particularly, they will tell you something and then lie in your face, and in 2 seconds, it's not the truth. They will go and say something else to another person. It was really hard to be in season 3 because everyone was lying and backstabbing. That's an understatement. These villains were just too good. Too good at lying. Don't be late to the table. You need to get your dessert. Watch House of Villains season 3 immediately, streaming on Peacock right now. Binge watch it, get caught up.
I need to
get
do
the
that.
family together. Villainry at the tables. You're all gonna want big bites of House of Villains season 3.
He also announced the name of a different far-right party when Celebrity News went, oh my god. Of course. And then went on a they canceled me tour. Yeah, exactly. You can't cancel capitalists because capitalism. Speaking of reality TV villains, there was this freakish Nazi on Big Brother UK last year. Oh, I heard about this. He was so horrific, even the reality TV producers thought it was too much. Yeah, that shows you something. Because, like, a lot of these producers are, like, they get off on cruelty. Like, have very fascist tendencies themselves in exploiting people for entertainment. He then went on a they canceled me tour. Of course he did. That's all that fascists can say. They're like, oh, like, there's reverse racism. That doesn't exist. And, like, they're canceling me. It's like, oh, so you're not, like, actively being oppressed, though? Like, laws aren't being made against your existence? Then like, sit the fuck down. I saw him in an eBay ad the other day. Ew. I hate that. I need to show this other monologue that she had. It only showed the beginning when she's like cussing out Omarosa because Omarosa didn't vote for her in New York. Omarosa. Yep. Here we go. Okay, it's this. You can spot that hair from a mile off. He had like a ginger Lord Oh no. The Lord Farquaad cut is never it. Oh, this is a horrible recording. Is there a better one? Saw this short. Let's see if this will do it.
I need to know. You just said in front of all these people that you did not want my vote. Since I already said that, Omarosa, may I also say that I find you to be a sucking, guzzling Republican. Oh, yo! And I sleep better at night knowing that you're not in the White House. Wow. Because I need to know. You just said in front of all these people
Essentially, a cum guzzling
that you did not want my vote.
Republican
Since I already
cunt.
said that, Omarosa, may I also say that I find you to be a sucking, guzzling Republican.
I got those first two swapped.
And I sleep better at night knowing that you're not in the White House. Wow.
Oh, classic. It's classic. He wasn't the focus of the ad, but I saw him in the crowd. The ad was a uni lecture half filled with extras. Notice how easy that hair spot. Damn. Yeah. Why? So now he's like trying to have this acting career, I guess. And like fascists do not make good artists. They don't make good art. We know this. It doesn't last because they're inherently retrograde and not about like breaking barriers and originality. Okay. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing of this, but the Met Gala happened, and there are a number of things that are controversial about it, primarily that Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez Bezos donated $10 million so that they could be on the board. And of course, Anna Wintour, who I have been calling a fascist for a very long time, accepted this money. I've also been calling Vogue a fascist publication for a long time, and that's because it is. All they focus on is the ruling class, the richest of the rich, and what their style is like, or their non-style, which is more accurate. People who just have tons of money that they are worshiping the money of it and not actually focusing on innovative art. So that's where we're at. But many people think that it should have been boycotted. I think that probably should have been the case, of people boycotting to show that like they don't want a billionaire to like buy up an event and provide legitimacy to their fascism, and also try to purchase cultural capital, social capital, because they don't understand anything about art. It's like the antithesis of art, fascism. So I really like their content. They do a lot of really great and accurate commentary on fashion in general. So I don't know if he's going to get into the specifics of why people didn't like the Met Gala. There was an alternative Met Gala, and I'm having a hard time even finding any footage of it. It's definitely being suppressed by the algorithm, but I really liked the fashions that they had there. And we need to talk about how there is a difference between fashion and the fashion industry, or what people consider high fashion, that is just inherently classist. It's inherently exclusionary to say like, oh, if you can't afford this price point, then you can't afford this kind of art. You can't participate in this kind of art. And that is fascist by nature. Being exclusionary, also how they set beauty standards, how now more than ever we are having like heroin chic come back with the skinniness of Ozempic, and it's scary, of people just being like skin and bones. And it's like, okay, this is just very plain eugenics in my mind. And a lot of fashion is about that. Like there is an industry, like that's capitalism. And then we have style. You can have fashion like designers, like small designers and like models and stuff, and that can be art, but like anything that is considered like high art or like high fashion is inherently classist, and doesn't always lead to the most innovative, like groundbreaking art in general. And I think one of the biggest arguments people are saying is like, oh, you're trying to say fashion isn't art? It's like, no, it is art, but also like it shouldn't only serve the upper classes. That's the issue. And also like museums are a very complicated complex because there is so much money that is donated and they still do not pay workers well. Like people get paid starvation wages just like in many other sectors, where you would think like, oh, you have an investment in, you know, like contributing to people, but like museums a lot like are the result of colonization, of stolen artifacts and art that they are not giving back, which they all should. And if that means we don't have any museums, okay, let them be empty. Only include the things that are donated. That's my perspective. The Met Gala outside looked so fun. I know, I love fashion, and growing up I was always like, one day I'd love to be able to go to the Met Gala, like what they call the height of fashion. but it is very classist, like I've said before, and recognizing that it's like these people are inspired by like what we do, designers, like especially when it comes to like queer people of color, like them co-opting a lot of like cultural traditional dress, and then they are able to make money off of it. First headline I see about the protest when searching is this: infantilizing the demonstrations, yep, framing it as horribly activists are trolling what they call the Bezos Met Gala in New York. Trolling, yeah, exactly. What they call. I meant the alternative one. Yes, exactly. That one looked really, really good. Yeah, and they had great fashion there that actually was like more accepting of diversity, of like various skin tones and body shapes and like ability, disability, focusing on like queerness as well. There was like a projection on a building by the Met Gala that was like, if Bezos can purchase the Met Gala, he can pay more in taxes. That's art. That's art to me. That's far more artistic and more what art should be, what I think of as art, than like the fascist endeavors of designers who only want to design for like the wealthy elites.
Are debatable, I would say. And so we are going to discuss all of the looks from the latest Met Gala. Before we get started, I should change. There we go. A little more comfy. Honestly, kind of like my new Amhu teddy sofa. Beautiful sage green. Because I, too, am sage. Out because we're going to talk about all these looks. And so without further ado, people, let's get into
either.
discussing.
And I was seeing more videos
about
it
Chanel.
earlier.
Now this
and articles.
Looks like a look
it's
that you wore
actively
actually
being
for the Camp
suppressed.
Met Gala in 2019. I believe that this is Chanel. I believe that last look is Chanel. The feather with the black trim at the bottom and the cape, I think is really lovely. I think the color works on her. Long necklace is also quite nice. And I like the dress itself. I like the embellishment. I think it's really quite radiant. I like the way that it also ombres. How art
you
is
saw
it?
A video of
I'm
it
not
yesterday.
really sure. How like
yeah,
body
I feel like with each day, more and more of
is.
them are
I'm
being
also
taken
not
down.
Sure. Probably not on theme, but does she look good? Yeah. Now, next up we have Anne Hathaway, who is wearing custom Michael Kors. Honestly, she looks great. She also, like, for a second, doesn't look like Anne Hathaway to me. I think it's the hair like that. I'm like into it. I like regular Anne Hathaway. This Anne Hathaway, nice to meet you, sweetie. I also think that this concept of this gown, strapless, black with beautiful white trim all around the bust area, running through all of these different elements of the skirt and the train. Now, the thing about all of these white details all throughout, I guess also the black details and the white details, is that they're all hand painted. That was something that was really interesting about doing the Met Gala Explainer video, which if you haven't watched that, you should go watch it. But I was...
Yeah. That's like what people are saying. It's like, it's not that like fashion isn't art or that like it can't be counted as art, but is it like the best art we should be supporting? I don't think so. Many people are like, well, this goes to like the costume section of the Met Gala or the Met Museum. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But also, like, how much of that money is being siphoned off by, like, the board and, like, the executive directors that isn't trickling down, because it doesn't trickle down, to the people who are actually doing the work of, like, running the museum day in and day out, working front of house, working behind the scenes. So, it's also, like, people who are able to create good fashion and have cool style without endless amounts of money, that takes true creativity. That takes true artistry and originality to be like, okay, we're gonna make do with what we have. It's like, that's what like essentially like ballroom started out as, and like still is a lot of the time, of like people who are just like creating things for the love of it with things that they have around, and like not having all of this money to go towards stuff. You had more luck on Instagram. Oh. Yes. And it's not super ageist, including Amazon workers. An Amazon warehouse worker working 60 hours a week to provide for his disabled mom and fighting for change. Yeah. Safer work conditions. Fighting for higher pay. Yes. Recognize the union. Yes. Fierce. Art belongs to everyone. Exactly. This is why we have to democratize art. This is a way to do it. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, for sure. Mary was like, I know what to do. Like, as they say in ballroom, like, she understood the assignment. I don't even know if I want to watch the rest of this. Because, like, maybe I'll just, like, go through and see the looks. I mean, that's pretty. Like, again, like, people can create interesting art when they have tons of money at their disposal. Like, tons of money and time. Yeah, it's obviously Pollock inspired. Iowa Debris. I mean, that's disappointed. That's disappointing that she went there. I saw that Zendaya boycotted the Met Gala. I think that should be done. I mean, I grew up loving Beyonce. So, you know, I have to admit, Beyonce, Jay-Z, they're part of the problem, that they have exploited people and continue to do so for their art. Also, the irony of like having a skeleton on the outside of your body when actively there are people, like children, starving in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Cuba, that it's just this like pre-French Revolution overt display of ruling class wealth that is kind of offensive. Like, while we can't afford things. Tons of money and all of the original designs from around the world to plagiarize. Exactly. Exactly. And most of these designers lift their fashion and art from the working class because guess what? We're way more creative and have like way more to invest in when it comes to individuality and honoring culture. And how so much of it gets taken from queer people and queer people of color. Fashion motherfuckers love to orientalize, yes, and cherry pick what they like for their own benefit. Yeah, exactly. There's someone that I saw that is coming up that looks like they have like a scarf, and they keep trying to say it's like a trend more that I think started on TikTok, but of course that is not, or it got popularized on TikTok, but it existed before that, of like all of these white women wearing Scandinavian scarves when really they're just like dupattas that are like very daisy, that are worn in India and Pakistan, and like lehengas, where it's like, okay, this is the essence of colonization, where you get to an appropriation where you get to pick and choose what you like, you monetarily benefit from it, while we are actively oppressed for wearing traditional dress, where we're cut off from employment and resources for identity. I mean, she looks great, but still. This is why we have to call out celebrity worship as neoliberal fascism, where it suppresses a lot of revolutionary action, I think especially among queer people, where if we feel like we're getting noticed from the celebrity we love, then and they're advocating for us while like ignoring how they are part of the ruling class, like that is a way to suppress the masses. I mean, Cardi always looks great. She always has great fashion, but again, I would hope that she wouldn't be there. Oh, who is this?
did a great job. Next up, we have Chase in.
Oh, she was in that, whatever, one battle after another, which I did not like. I mean, it's stunning, and it's probably like the sequins are hand sewn, but again, people who have the time and money are the people who are actually sewing these things, not the designers themselves, who don't often like handle the garment themselves at all. It's like they pay people way less to actually be the workers on this. A lot of high fashion gives me the vibes of the colonial chinoiserie. Yep, Chinese rooms that the rich colonial people had. Exactly. Yeah, and how you were saying like Orientalism, like also like lifting so many things from Black culture as well. Just like especially when it comes to people of color and their cultures around the world, like lifting things and not paying tribute and also not giving back to these communities. Was this Cher?
Now, this is custom. It's a lot of leather, lace, and.
I mean, she looks fine, but also, like, Cher has been a fashion icon. Coleman Domingo is there. He looks great, but I wish he wasn't there. He seems to be a little more, like, socially aware. I know some people were already planning this, like, way before the Bezoses, like, bought the Met Gala. But, like, even if there was all this time and effort and money put into a look, like, you should just say no. Yeah, it's a Harlequin reference. Very queer. Just like the most ham-fisted, botched interpretation of their perception of other cultures. Exactly. Yeah. That it's not accurate and historically has actively been used to oppress people. I find Gracie Abrams to be very annoying. I don't think her music is that great. She's always like, she's a Nepo baby, surprise, surprise, started out like modeling because all Nepo babies do. Yeah, I don't get it.
Next up, we have Gracie Abrams, who is wearing Chanel. She's a Chanel girly bodice.
And also the overrepresentation of Chanel, that's not an accident. Chanel was a fascist sympathizer, dressed a lot of Nazis. So, like, why we somehow can't talk about that? It was her, Hailey Bieber, whatever the fuck. She was wearing like a scarf over this. That was like, this is a dupatta.
Next up, we have Hailey Bieber, and
it was just like around her neck, like the very like silky sheer material that is used in many Desi cultures. That's like, okay, so you get to wear this and you aren't going to be hate crimed. You aren't going to be like cut off from your employment.
I like this look, and I know people got mad at me because I said that after last year she redeemed herself, but she's literally doing like one of the most
yeah, he's not providing the commentary about class that I would hope. This is Heidi Klum. I think this is more interesting based off of like the makeup that's done. I'm sure like Gottmik, a drag queen, helped because Gottmik usually does makeup for Heidi Klum. She's known to be like for her like outlandish costumes that she dresses up as. It's like cool, but also like here we're showing a veil. So it's only okay if women have veils over their faces or like they're covering their faces if they're white or they're portrayed in like an Orientalist fashion. Okay, Hudson Williams. I mean, he looks great, but still, like, I would hope that, like, you would be more representative or understand, like, this is a chance to show that, like, you don't agree with something. I mean, Janelle Monáe always looks good, but she also can be extremely classist. See, this is part of the, like, propaganda, is that they actually get people, you know, who are successful, good looking, stylish, and they use it as a way to buy, quite literally, legitimacy for the ruling class. to not pay attention to how much they are exploiting people and stealing from us. I don't know if I've said this story before, but the other week we were taken to a museum storehouse type of thing, like where things are kept when not in an active installation. Okay. The tour woman kept giving 5-minute long speeches about the ethics of their taxidermy. Oh my god. Which is fine in a vacuum, but not when you've just walked past countless stolen artifacts without a word. Yes. The cognitive dissonance really is shocking, especially when you have people working in museums. Like, I, for a while, wanted to, like, work for a museum. Like, I would apply to jobs as, like, like, communications or, like, community outreach, because I have experience in that. And the jobs are so low paying. Meanwhile, they're getting all of these donations that really go primarily to the board and the executive directors. And that's just unconscionable. And they don't want to acknowledge. It's like people, a lot of the time, especially the people who are not paid well, work there because they love art. And they exploit that, where they're like, oh, you work here, we're going to pay you not well, not livable wages because we know how much you love art. It's just another form of exploitation. Again, Chanel. How many people are in Chanel? I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a Hugo Boss suit, who famously designed the Nazi uniforms. Dior. I mean, that's pretty, but Kim, why is she still being invited to stuff? Oh yeah, she's part of the ruling class. Don't care. Ew. Kylie Jenner, also part of the problem. Laufey, I mean, yeah, I would hope Laufey would be more self-aware than that, but yeah, Nicole Kidman, she was one of the co-chairs. Beyonce was one of the co-chairs. Once they found out that the Bezos did that, they should have stepped down in protest. But again, there is a lot of solidarity within the ruling class, and we don't want to admit it because they're in movies that we like, or they make music that we like, or they like look and present in a way that we're attracted to, that they actively are invested in changing and having narration over what beauty standards are, which is just like a form of propaganda. Yeah. I mean, Tiana Taylor always looks good, but same thing applies. Okay. Yeah, that's all I'll go over with that. Like, sure, it's bad that you have this encased butterfly that is endangered now, but not a mention about all of the West African ceremonial masks? Yes, exactly. The West Asian statues and the weapons racks filled with the weapons that people were literally slaughtered while holding. Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. It's like, give this shit back. Give this shit back. And they're like, but it helps people learn. Okay, they can learn about it in other ways. They don't need to see it right before their eyes. They can look at pictures. And if people want to donate stuff, then they can donate stuff. But you should not be idolizing and revering this colonial extraction that is bathed in blood rather than honoring where this comes from. Like, isn't that the whole point? Yeah, it's really wild. And then also they want to steal the art from these places and be like, oh, look, this is so like sophisticated, or like with what people are doing. And then at the same time be like, oh, these are third world nations that are underdeveloped. So like stealing the things that like are very meaningful to cultures and show like the complexity of societies, and making it so that there's all of this colonial extraction still happening that is undermining any sort of like democracy, and just continuing to oppress people. That it's like, that is what colonization is. Okay. I started watching this video of Hassan's and it just like instantly like triggered me. I agree with him on a lot of things, but he was saying, I think essentially like, oh, it's art. Fashion is art. I think he really just wants to go to the Met Gala, and that's why he's more sympathetic to it. I do think Hassan has some blind spots, especially when it comes to celebrities and some things with the ruling class. Like, he can be kind of elitist at times. I think any sort of like people who are really into name brand things, like even if you can't afford it, that doesn't mean that like the brands don't have like deeply fascist and problematic and uh colonial ways to like source materials, and that they don't lift things from other cultures and stuff. It's so
It reminded me of your worst take ever defending it, because Awesome Real is straight out of the Hunger Games. In a just world, a Met Gala would not have to do these like extravagant, these attempts to like fundraise by having some of the super wealthy people, but it would be just funded by the public. I'm not in favor of the Met Gala, especially as Jeff Bezos being like the head, the lead executive.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
If you think that I'm going to be anti-art, anti the Met, you're insane. I don't know if you know this, but my mother is an art history professor.
It's not the whole point. I think it's just like what I was saying before. It's missing the whole point of people aren't saying that it's not art. People are not saying that like it's not even like good art. Like there are some beautiful garments that they're making. It's the fact that it is this exclusive way to make it so art is not accessible to the masses. If you're actually for the working class, if you're actually for like democratizing these various art forms and making it so that like everyone has access to it, it's not about like making it so people improving their conditions so they can buy these things, which is like much more of like a liberal way of thinking, instead of like disseminating the things that already exist, making it so that they don't hoard as much wealth, that they aren't engaged in colonial extraction. It's like that's part of how we hold these brands accountable. Yeah, it's not that it's not art. I like the screen wall with Amazon workers protesting. Yes, that's art. Fashion is art and should be funded, and the Met Gala's out of touch, makes bad art, and is funded by psychopaths. Exactly. It's like we can have these nuances. Regardless of what people think of it, it was just a smart idea of Mamdani not to attend. Yeah, love that. And I think that was the first time ever that a mayor had not attended the Met Gala, the New York mayor, when it happens in New York City. So, like, he's on the right side of history there. Yeah, I honestly think Hassan just wants to be there. Which, like, I have thought that before as well, of like, oh, that would be cool to attend. But, like, it's not that like people there aren't good artists themselves creating good art. It's about this hoarding of wealth and what they represent, and how these shitheads are using it to provide legitimacy to them actively ingratiating themselves with the government, exploiting workers on a mass scale, making it so that they are union busting, something that like Hassan has historically like been against. So it's like you have to acknowledge these things. Yeah, and like this dress, she chose this. She doesn't understand the meaning of this history, and I think Matt Bernstein does a really good job explaining it. People are critiquing the context around it, but he's defending it from the most surface level position possible. Like he just hucked the dialectical materialism right out the window. Yes. I agree. And I think that is where like some of his biggest blind spots are, is like some of this celebrity worship. Like I heard him say one time as well, he was like making excuses for Kylie Jenner of like, oh, I think when people are more public facing, they aren't quite as exploitative. I'm like, no, that's how she exploits people, is through like the social media of it all, and exploitation and commodifying and co-opting Black culture specifically. Yeah, that I'm like, just because you want to fuck someone, it doesn't mean that they aren't engaged in the problem of being a capitalist and exploiting people. It's like, I can think that about Beyonce, of like growing up being like, your art meant a lot to me, of seeing someone that was like curvy and like so beautiful and embracing themselves, but also like, oh, you have definitely exploited smaller artists and have taken a lot of credit for what other people have done.
Lauren Sanchez Bezos, who just paid $10 million to show up to the Met Gala.
Also, before she got the Mar-a-Lago face, which like all of these fascists have, like Kylie Jenner, they all have cheek implants, they all have lip filler, they all have Botox, and it's like, you can engage in that gender affirming care and all that, but it also is like the signal of class, of like, who can afford this? Baby. Oh yeah, go ahead. No worries. And she looked so much better before she got all of this work done.
In a navy prom dress. And you might say, no, you're missing the point. She's referencing the 1884 portrait
Madam
of Madam
X.
X. It's a reference. To which I would say it's just kind of funny that she picked the one painting that would allow her to wear the same dress she always wears.
I love that he's calling this out. Especially with the fact that the whole point of that dress at the time, it was scandalous because of these modesty standards at the time that were very colonized as well, that like showing like off the shoulder was viewed as very scandalous. That's why it's called Madam X. It's like supposed to be more like subversive and sexual, and like, you do not represent that. You're part of the fascist establishment.
And I actually don't mind it. You might be thinking it's the Met Gala and she's one of the richest women in the world. She should be wearing something more inventive, more creative, more boundary breaking. But I think this dress is perfect for her because she is none of those things.
Exactly.
Good art requires taking risks. It requires challenging people. But Lauren Sanchez Bezos is only
Art
able
should
to be Lauren
challenge
Sanchez
people.
Bezos because she risks nothing and stands up to no one, which are qualities perfectly represented by this dress, which looks like it was ordered on Amazon Prime with overnight shipping. And here we have Lauren Sanchez Bezos.
Yep, calling it out. I love that. I respect that. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing here, but this is just reiterating what has been happening for a longer time in history, but especially white colonialism. There was this phenomenon known as heroin chic in the 90s and early 2000s, where like when heroin was viewed as like a fashionable thing, like very Nirvana as well, like a lot of models were using heroin to stay skinny, that like it's scary seeing how skinny some of these people are. That's not to say that like skinny people who are that way naturally, like that's a bad thing. It's when people are using this as the ideal, where there is this common knowledge in Hollywood that basically everyone is on Ozempic. This is why you see like all of these like jutting bones and like cheekbones and jawbones and seeing people's ribs, where there's this phenomenon known as Ozempic face, where they have like these like necks that look like they're like being shrunken, because they are. And it's very concerning because we already have impractical beauty standards. Social media is not helping with this. It's very racist and fat phobic and queer phobic and sexist a lot of the time, just like further commodifying beauty and saying like, oh, you can buy this look in order to get this way, or you should look this way in order to be acceptable as part of society, which is just another way of upholding patriarchy and ableism and all of these forms of oppression.
The feeling that we don't know what bodies are meant to look like anymore. Gucci's show this year had the models walking down runway looking quite alarming, as your fashion archive shared.
The new Gucci show was incredibly skinny. Demi Lovasalia's debut Gucci runway has a lot.
This is why I think, because some queer people, it's especially prominent in the LA queer nightlife scene, for people to use skinny as like, oh, this is so skinny. Like they think it's funny or like it's kind of ironic, but like it's still being used as like a positive thing. And I think it's like there already is so much rampant fat phobia in queer spaces. Like that's not helpful at all.
People talking. Shocker.
Right now, this post is going viral because people are desperately searching for this pair of jeans. It's a relaxed boot cut which fits at the hips but then just cascades down the body, not really even touching flesh. And really, it's the body type that makes this look. If
Yes.
you're pear-shaped or have curvier hips or thighs,
Looking at that, I'm like, yeah,
these
that would
jeans will
not
be
just
with my
cascade
belly.
over my
You'll look like
thighs.
this. You'll still look chic. However, it's not the same look. The outfit that people want is actually the body beneath it. You know how everyone's been watching that Carolyn Bessette Kennedy and JFK Jr. not romantic story that's been reimagined to be fully romantic, and they've been lusting after her effortless chic style. She's poised, she wears simple clothes, it's tailored, she's gorgeous. Let's be real here, it's because she's a pretty thin white blonde woman who, as middle-aged as in this video, went blonder over time and, in my opinion, also lost some weight over time too. Their relationship is not to be romanticized, no matter how many people were dressing up as CBK for a JFK Jr. lookalike contest. If you want to fall out of love with the Kennedys real fast, just read the book Ask Not by Maureen Callahan. The Kennedys are not good people.
Yeah,
was
they
rocking
aren't.
An elevated basic look, kind of model off
I love that. Call it
time
out.
and again, a bit like those jeans from just before. And we've now reached the point that people are openly saying maturing is realizing that being skinny is the outfit. So we have shrinking celebrities and surgeries I had not even heard of happening,
Yes,
including
this.
I think
Oh my god. Right, we have to go back. The irony of Demi Moore also being part of the movie The Substance and using Ozempic is like, bitch, did you not pay attention to the movie
reached
you
the
were
point
in?
that people are openly saying maturing is realizing that being skinny is the outfit. So we have shrinking celebrities.
Yeah. Like, I saw this and I was like, what? This is so frightening. And, oh my god, see? Like, I had a crush on her. I don't remember what her name is. She was on Euphoria. That also is a very problematic show. That I was like, oh, she's so gorgeous. And seeing her on Ozempic, I'm like, she looks like she's ill. These people look like they're ill.
And surgeries I had not even heard of happening, including a thing called Barbie arms, because people are injecting Botox into their arms to be able to not be able to use the muscle, the thing that we need. We want to be strong, remember? I haven't
so
heard of so many of
stupid.
the treatments and surgeries that people are getting, and honestly, this could be a whole other video onto the body modifications that people feel like they have to get now. But what all of it comes back to is in order to be chic, you need to be slim. And since The Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out in just over a week's time, do you remember this scene?
There's nothing in this whole closet that'll fit a size 6, I can
Yeah.
guarantee you. These are all sample sizes 2 and 4.
It's very
Don't worry, he praises her
fat-phobic.
later on in the movie when she puts
I've heard as well that the second movie is extremely fat-phobic. It's like, oh, yeah. I mean, The Devil Wears Prada, another brand that has a history of being affiliated with Nazis. What can you expect?
together, honestly, a very basic outfit of a pencil skirt and a blazer. Why does she look so good?
Bet your size 6 ass.
4.
Really?
She looks that good
Yeah.
because she got smaller. She lost weight, which deserves another spin and a whole other cheers. I'm not blaming this movie at all. This reflected the 2000s perfectly. You know that I'm
Yeah.
36, so I went from the age of 10 to 20 in the decade of the 2000s. I wanted to get into fashion design. I worked in retail for 5 years. I helped so many women and girls.
I've also
try and
worked in
feel
retail. That also is something that I think many people do not recognize, is that these fashion brands, especially when they aren't custom materials, they aren't couture, which means like they come off the runway. If they say it's like off the rack, it's stuff that they're making for like the masses that isn't viewed as worth more. It's not as much money because it's not as classist. That they source their materials from a lot of the same places that like these general stores and brands are sourcing their materials from. Like I worked at Anthropologie, the clothing store, and like as employees, many of us, like most of us, just accepted and knew that there were some clothing that came in that just wasn't worth people's money, that it was a way inflated price, that you can get something that is much better quality, that will last longer and like look exactly the same at a store that is has a way less high of a price point. It's about class. You are buying this social currency to be accepted with this brand.
in their bodies that help them with colors, cuts, fabrics, everything. I know the scars it left on us all. This image of Jessica Simpson is burned into every millennial's brain of what an obese woman looks like. Someone who really let themselves go. People are quick to say, oh, but it's the styling. Glamour magazine did in 2009. You can't wear high-waisted jeans if you're her size, and actually, a belt is bad too, and oh my goodness, look at your arms, you can't go wearing a tank top. I think that she's actually smaller than me now. If your body is bigger than it used to be, you have to be constantly contorting, constricting, and denying your body. Shame on you, you utter failure. That was a messaging back then with Christina Aguilera being referred to this by Kelly Osbourne. Maybe she's becoming the fat bitch she was born to be, on the Fashion Police show. And when we look at Christina Aguilera today, we can see that the attitudes have not actually shifted.
Ozempic. This is what people are calling the Ozempic neck. It's scary. This is like the kind of stuff that you see on people who have been using meth for a long time.
We are back to this time, but it's almost worse.
I come from the substance use disorder world, so.
In a way, because thanks to Ozempic, people are acting like having a slightly bigger body in any way, shape, or form is wrong because there's an injection for that now. And plastic surgery has become so normalized that there's this vision of.
And there's a huge price point that is like, you can only get this if you are part of the ruling class, the 1%, the wealthy elite.
Plastic skinniness of this permanent teenage-shaped body that people are expected to be constantly like having no matter what age they're at.
Yeah, which also is a form of infantilizing women. And not only is it, you know, fat phobic and shaming, and also this form of white supremacy, that it also is this way to justify the fetishization of young girls and their bodies, especially in this moment when we are talking about Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files. This is a form of doing that, of like these women who used to have like fuller figures. And like, again, this doesn't mean that like if people are naturally skinny this way, that's a bad thing. But like people who are like looking to decrease the size of their breasts, and not like for medical reasons. Like, I mean, I would love to do that for dysphoric reasons and like health reasons. So like my back doesn't hurt all the time. But like to look like you don't have any. And that is a form of infantilizing women to also justify patriarchy and the exploitation and eroticizing of young girls, children.
People are feeling incredibly righteous in their judgment towards others these days, and it's really concerning to me because we've even got people like Sabrina Carpenter being called fat. Even Olivia Rodrigo has been. There's a comment saying, "I'm glad she's not skinny like the other pop girlies," about Tate McRae. I truly feel like the Overton window has shifted, and we just don't know what bodies are meant to look like anymore. And by the way, subscribe, because I'm absolutely going to be making a video about The Devil Wears Prada 2 when that comes out, because, oh my goodness, that movie had a big impact on me, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot to say. My patrons are the ones that voted for this video, and they've already got the extended and uncensored and ad-free version available to them. Karl Lagerfeld said, "Fashion is the healthiest motivation."
Yep, Karl Lagerfeld. He was the creative director of Chanel. He was famously fat phobic. Good friends with Anna Wintour. It was a huge scandal, essentially, when there was a Met Gala that was based off of his life after he passed away. So, like, it's not just this moment that we're arriving at with all of this fascism. We have gotten here because of the various steps that have been taken to arrive at this point, where it's like there has always been this deification of being skinny, of not eating, and also having it be conflated with class.
To lose weight, which of course made the rounds on Tumblr in 2010s, and I've seen resurfacing again. He also said things like, people want to look at skinny models. These are fat women sitting with their bags of crisps in front of the television, saying that thin models are ugly with dreams and illusions, and no one wants to see round women. He also said about Heidi Klum, famous fashion model of the 2000s. Heidi Klum is no runway model. She is simply too heavy and has too big a bust. To me, it's a skill issue if fashion designers can't actually design clothes to fit a 3D human form. It's kind of the main part of the job. Clothes are not made for hangers, clothes are made to be lived in. Sadly, the shrinking has spread, and it's now the only way to be chic. This video came up on my recommended from a stylist called Kennedy.
It is not a bad outfit just because I don't look skinny.
This must be something major to create such backlash. So I had a look at the original video where she was wearing a slip dress which was gold, you know, as an alternate to like just having to wear white as a wedding dress. Love that. The cape on the back is very elegant, and you know that I'm gonna want that lamp. I want that lamp badly. She was inundated with comments calling her bloated, asking if she was pregnant, saying that she looked like she gained 50 pounds.
Oh my
I even saw a
God.
comment about her arms
Like,
needing
no,
lipo.
I'm just
People were
a
saying
human.
it's unflattering on her shape because you can see her body shape, her
Yeah.
stomach in particular.
Some people like that. Also, having auditioned for a strip club, a gentleman's club, that also, like, calling it a gentleman's club is, you know, very patriarchal. People want this skinniness in public because it's a form of currency and class. But then in private, they want the curves. They want people shaking it. They want to have something to grab onto, the people that they're seeing at night or on the weekends. So, like, there is this juxtaposition of wanting that in public as a sign of class, but then like they also get to participate in this other kind of activity where they indulge in people who have curves, and that also is a very classist way to be functioning in the world of like, you want these upper class white women specifically to be your wife or girlfriend, and then for like your side piece or like the like carnal pleasures that you're indulging in, like you want to engage with women who have curves. That's viewed as a lower class thing, especially when it comes to women of color.
My stomach looks like this every day because that's what my stomach looks like. My body doesn't have good days and it doesn't have bad days. It just exists.
I love her body neutral stance as well, because bodies don't have good or bad days. They just...
I love this. Body positive can also be viewed as like a toxic thing. How I feel about myself has nothing to do with my appearance. I love body neutrality. It's just like, yeah, my body exists. There isn't a right way or wrong way to have a body. It just is. And we need what we need to be healthy. That's what should matter. This is something that I ran into like as I was choreographing my dance that I posted that you can watch if you're interested. That is still up. Like I started spiraling at one point, like before I recorded it, and then when I was editing, because I'm like, oh, I'm like not as thin as I used to be, like when I was like a teenager dancing all the time, and I'm like, I don't want to look like that anymore. I had to like check that in myself, like I'm not a little girl or like a little person, and that's also good for people to see a variation of body types. Like that is still a desirable thing that I find beautiful.
Exist. Now, I say if I'm having a good or bad day, but that's because of my chronic illness, and different parts of me are in pain at different times.
If your problem is not with the dress, but with my body, that is your problem and not mine. Please tell your therapist and not my comment section. That's all.
Because that's really what people are taking issue with. The body doesn't accept the standards that they want it to. And
Yep, exactly. Okay, that's as far as I'm gonna go with this, just so that we can keep moving on. All right. I did want to touch on this, what's happening with, or what happened with Meg the Stallion and Klay Thompson. Like, fuck him. He's an idiot. I think FD Signifier has a really great perspective on this. I mean, he usually does. So, I want to play this. I've already seen this. I need to step out for just a sec, but I'll be right back.
Trying to figure out how to transition from serious politics and media analysis guy into slop sports junk tuber where the money resides and the fans are just as weird and parasocial, but it's sports, so I really don't care. And I think the universe heard my cries because people can't seem to keep their hands off other people's men and or women. And now I have sports drama with a sociological slant. Sports slop, here I come. About a month ago, notable NFL reporter Diana Rossini and Super Bowl champion player turned Super Bowl runner-up head coach Mike Vrabel were allegedly caught on a romantic tryst, with the major problem being that both of them are married to other people. And this was a concerning conflict of interest between a coach and a member of the media. Both of them presented explicit denials of anything untoward, and the story was initially mostly of interest to the typical bottom feeder manosphere types who love to hyperfixate on highly visible women in the media. And you see this because a lot of people were posting old comments and outtakes of Diana Rossini disparaging her actual husband in ways that do seem weird in retrospect, but at the moment it was like, whatever, this is sports banter, people do this all the time. There was a clear hyper focus on her and not much being said about Vrabel, who was also married with children and the leader of a team where character and accountability were preached. And also this team employed Stephon Diggs the previous season, so I don't know, maybe that's the new Patriot way. Now, like I said, initially I was dismissive, but over time it was shown that this story was legitimate, and more evidence of their relationship surfaced, showing that it dated back over 5 years. This caused Rossini to eventually resign from her job, although when she did it, she was still trying to act like there was nothing factual about the situation. Vrabel finally addressed it and did the classic move of checking into rehab because of his dick. We all know how dick rehab works, but he does still have his job, which, to be fair, like there's less scrutiny on like familial infidelity. It probably should mean more than it does. I've seen people compare this to Ima Udoka and Shamar Moore, two black head coaches who were fired because of infidelity in their respective teams. However, I will point out that those two black coaches both had much more egregious behavior, with Shamar Moore having a pretty intense crash out and breakdown that resulted in police investigations. And Udoka cheated with a subordinate employee, which aside from being poor character and poor taste, is a legitimate breach of workplace decorum and would be grounds for dismissal in many jobs. So it is what it is. Further, he's just extra dumb because his ass cheated with Nia Long of all people,
people, and this is going to be a pattern in this video. Because what I really want to talk about is another story of epic baddie fumbling, which is what happened between Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson this past weekend, at least as of right. For those who don't know, Klay Thompson is a basketball player who, along with his former Splash brother Steph Curry and a few other significant role players, was a big part of them winning 4 championships with the Golden State Warriors. He's legitimately one of the best players of this era, one of the best shooters of all time. And despite what some parts of Black Twitter are saying, no, he is not just some light-skinned nobody. He is a legitimate big deal within his realm. Now, he's since been riddled with injuries and on the decline as a player because he's on the wrong side of 35, but he is a legend in this era. At the same time, Meg Thee Stallion is one of the biggest stars hip-hop has seen in the last decade plus. Those outside of hip-hop probably know her more for her epic success on WAP, or as it's better known,
Wet ass P word. P word is female genitalia.
But beyond that,
Oh, Ben Shapiro is so embarrassing.
Wet as P word. P word meaning female genitalia.
You can't say pussy? Okay. Which, by the way, I don't think pussy should be used as a derogatory thing anymore, or like calling someone a bitch. Aren't we past that? I think, you know, like it needs to be used in like the way cunt is used, or like bitch, like in a positive way. I mean, sometimes I can be like, I can call people bitches when they deserve it. As I say, don't use it in a derogatory way. Yeah, most of the time using it in a way that as like a form of praise.
She has had tons of hits as an artist and multiple albums, partly because she had to do a lot of albums, get out a record deal. I'll come back to that later. But also, she is sadly known as yet another lightning rod for internet weirdo scrutiny, as she is the victim of a violent assault by one Tory Lanez, a Canadian goblin weird man who is currently serving prison time for his assault. But due to willful misinformation by one DJ Groomer Dimbix and the beige lawsuit filing overlord that commands him, there has been an endless negative campaign against her online by some of the internet's worst.
Yeah,
things.
especially
Just
with
for the
Nicki.
record, while I am against prisons in general, according to the laws of the land, Tory Lanez is rightfully incarcerated. And despite what Groomer Dimbix and his ilk keep trying to say, there's been no new evidence, no secret testimony,
Same,
no
against
special
prisons in general.
investigation happening. There's nothing material to make people think otherwise. But it's not like facts have ever been the issue in this case, because that's just how those dudes are. They're going to say what they want the truth to be until nothing. They're just going to keep saying it regardless. I mean, look at them. Despite her larger-than-life persona, Meg is actually a pretty tragic figure. She lost her father at an early age, lost her mother early in her rap career, was a victim of an incredibly exploitative initial record deal, as I mentioned earlier, and is a recovering alcoholic. And this led her to being very private about pretty much everything she did outside of promoting her music for years now, which is why so many
bullied
people were
and
very happy for her when she
antagonized
first
by
popped
Nicki
out with
Minaj.
Thompson, because we assumed that if she was being public with a new guy, lots of social media posts, viral videos of her cooking for his whole family good-looking food, it must have been because he was a good dude and they were serious. It was the opposite of when Cardi popped out with Stephon Diggs, who people kind of knew he was kind of shitty. Folks assumed Klay would do right by her because, I mean, she's Meg Thee Stallion. She is literally one of the most beautiful men in the world. And also on top of that, successful, rich, and according to her music, we'll say fun. Sadly, it seems like Meg and her fans should have done more digging on Klay Thompson. Basketball kind of fell off my radar in 2004 after the Pistons beat the Lakers in the finals.
This is doing nothing to help my
boring basketball
prejudice
I've ever seen.
against
Shout out Larry
professional
Brown and
athletes.
The rest of them no-name dudes that most people that are younger than me don't even remember from that championship team.
Cut the shit off, bro. I gotta cut the shit the fuck off.
But from what I can see, Thompson is seen as a dummy on and off the court, making bonehead plays in between his great moments on the court, leading to his coach making some unique faces at him when he makes these mistakes, as well as being allegedly a habitual baddie fumbler, as it seems he also cheated on several of his previous girlfriends, which includes Coco Jones. And like, how does God not strike you down for doing this multiple times? Not a fair God,
exactly.
if that can happen. I be trying to cape for light-skinned dudes, but the L's on y'all head right now is rough. Caleb, Iceman, save your people, save us all. All jokes aside, well, no, not all of them. We got more coming. The most revealing thing to come out of that story is the revelation that an early relationship in which Klay Thompson also cheated revealed that he kept a whole diary of sorts. Again, this is all internet gossip, but I've seen clips and timestamps and all the things about this alleged diary, and it does have some validity as it predates a lot of things, going all the way back to 2019 when he won maybe his 3rd championship. And even back then, he seems to have been on some cheater timing with amazing quotes such as, "Ah, yes, lifestyle on and off the court, particularly my sex life. The most savage sectors of my lifestyle. Promiscuousness, womanizing, misogynistic, self-centered, insecure addict. Is that what I am right now? I hope not, but I keep writing about it." Why do you feel like this can't be real? Because this is too fucking corny. Maybe because the experiences are so euphoric and exciting. Women are at my fingertips in so many cities nationwide. So let's say this is real. I don't think it's all that implausible that it is, and that's because I've had the pleasure of being around more than a few high-level athletes, and you'd be shocked to know just how simple and kind of dumb many of them are. Or at least that used to be a secret, except like every athlete has a podcast now, and like if you watch a lot of these dudes, you can kind of tell. These are not all strong intellects. Engaging personalities, I give them that. But a big chunk of them, not a lot going on upstairs, and that's male and female athletes included, just to be fair. This is partially shade, but also this is kind of a system failure for them, especially for a lot of black athletes in particular, which is something I touch on in a very old video that anyone with a child in athletics should watch. Athletes, especially black athletes,
love that
are
video.
very much socially and academically
It touches on a
underdeveloped.
lot of issues that I have with sports, of like it harkening back to slavery and people making slaves fight each other, black men primarily, that it is a microcosm of that, of like who are the majority of people who own basketball teams, who are on these boards, who are investing in the shares. It's like they're these white upper class capitalists.
Purpose, usually as a
yes,
byproduct
that's the
of
same
skills
thing as
on and
upper
off the court,
class.
to make them easier to manage. And the better they are, the more severe this underdevelopment can become. You might still get an Arian Foster and Aaron Maben, two men I've had the privilege of speaking to in other videos. You might get a scholar like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Arthur Ashe and Colin Kaepernick as activists, or Myron Rolle and Gabby Thomas who are whole medical biologists, doctors, or whatnot. And I'm sure there's plenty more. But for the most part, elite athletes are specialized from an early age to do their sport. And if there's not some very purposeful intervention in the process to develop something else about them, there's a high likelihood that they will not develop academically and emotionally to their potential. So yeah, this does sound...
Yeah. I was a first-year mentor for students at BYU, Brigham Young University. I don't recommend going there. It's a Mormon college and bleak. It's bleak. Depressing. I had a few student athletes that were assigned to me. I was assigned to them. And it was impossible to get a hold of them, to help them with catching up in class, that like their academics were very explicitly second to their athletic performance, and the entire system catered to that. Of like, if they didn't turn some things in, they were given all of these exceptions. If they were like late to class all the time, it's like, oh, it's not even because they like had a conflict, it's because they were like, oh, I like had to rest because of this, and it was just accepted as normal. So like the system is meant for that. It doesn't highlight their academic performance whatsoever, and it made it so that they developed a lot of this kind of entitlement of like, oh, like you're just like trying to be a parent asking me about my grades. I'm like, I'm just like here to give you resources if you want, because you need some. You aren't doing well.
Like a diary of a dude that's been playing basketball his whole life and pretty much nothing else. But there's also some other elements to it. Another thing at play that I already alluded to, the misogyny and patriarchy, which if you didn't think I was gonna bring that up, like, why did you click on it? Well, if you know me, you didn't think I was gonna bring it up, why did you click the video? Sure, you knew that was coming. If you don't know me, this is your first video, and before you start like crying and whining in my comment section, just listen for a second with an open mind. The most frustrating aspect of the way that athletes, specifically here black athletes, are underdeveloped, specifically with the men, it lies in the way that sports serves as a uniquely viable gender performance role for young black men. Or in more simpler terms, maybe, if you are a black male in any other realm of life, you are under a lot of scrutiny. You feel society's pressure and like attitude towards you. And once you become an athlete, that's something you can present back to the world that shows that you have value and status beyond what a regular black male might look like. It's a free ticket to being one of the good ones.
Hey, for real, man, that's messed up. Shit crazy, twin.
They need to start doing violence out for real. That's not nothing to mess with. They need to stop making violence. I ain't gonna cap. So all y'all doing good in school? Oh yeah, do good. I got good grades. I'm an athlete. I'm a football player. I'm a football player. What position you play? I play tight end, wide receiver, safety, and linebacker.
This isn't a good thing. This has to do with a lot of things about how black men are perceived in society. But if you were an athlete or have been around athletes, you know that is something that they do because it is something that all of us secretly desire, to be viewed in society as more than what our black skin tells society we are worth. For obvious reasons, maybe a little less relevant for Klay Thompson. Not completely true, but like clearly, right? But for many other black athletes, that athlete status is a free ticket out of a lot of the stressors, not all, but many of the stressors of being black and male. At the same time, it also puts a lot of pressure on you. Being one of the good ones is not for the weak of heart. I talked about this in other videos about how black men who have that status also have to take on a ton of pressure. My most vivid experiences with black male athletes were the ones where they broke down in front of me. My first and most vivid moment of dealing with male athletes was as a high school teacher and having this 6'5", 300-pound teenage boy break down and cry on my shoulder about how he didn't love football and he didn't know if he was gonna make it get anywhere because he was only rated as a 3-star recruit his senior year, which if you know anything about football, you know that 3-star recruits aren't guaranteed. None of them are guaranteed anything, but the lower your stars, the worse off it looks. But regardless of all that, if you ask 10 little boys between 3 and 13 what they want to be when they grow up, half of them are going to say some type of professional athlete with maybe astronaut close behind before you maybe get to 1 or 2 that say they want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a scientist or something. This isn't because it's just that fun for those kids to play that sport at such a young age. It's also because even at that age, they can perceive how the status of being a good athlete, being seen as an elite athlete, can change the way you are treated, and they're apt to pursue that. I bring this up because this does relate to some of the things Meg stated in her IG post where she announced a breakup, as well as Clay's cringe hoe diary, which is that under patriarchy and due to misogyny, the byproduct of this high value, even male status is that it comes with constant attention and adoration from women. Women are not immune to patriarchy and misogyny. I hope I'm not saying anything that's controversial at this point. I hope you all understand that by now. Women are raised in the same patriarchal households that men are, and are often left in charge of leading the reinforcement and tutelage of patriarchy, of patriarchal norms in the home. So the same idealized roles that boys learn to pursue translate to girls as well. And when this is combined with misogyny and misogynoir, you start to see some really ugly patterns emerge. I'm gonna try to go a little bit deeper here for the highly learned gender scholars in the audience with the extra letters behind your name. Please have grace with me as I break down this stuff in the video with Klay Thompson and Meg Thee Stallion's faces on the cover. This is not meant to be the end all be all on gender studies. There will be no quotes of Pat Hill Collins or Judith Butler here. I'm gonna do my best. Have grace. But I want to point out that under patriarchy, women,
he knows the gender studies,
are not really people. They're objects, resources, at best maybe symbols, tokens,
commodities.
And again, this is what both men and women are taught, which if this is your first time hearing this, if you think about it, probably makes a lot of sense in terms of the way that we socialize boys and girls, the way that gender is engaged with and promoted on social media. You see it all the time. Similarly, manhood can also be understood through a transactional capitalist framework, aka being a normal guy versus a high value male, a term that I think everybody knows at this point. What is a high value male according to the internet? It's a man with significant access to material resources, a good job, strong social connections, someone that can provide a woman with a soft life. You seldom hear anything about a high value male in like strong character, helping raise kids, emotional maturity, loyalty. None of that comes up. It's all material access to capital, which if you think about the way capitalism works, explains why some of these niggas act the way they act. The whole point of the high value male concept and why it's so coveted in red pill manosphere spaces is because they understand that having that status allows men like Klay Thompson the freedom to set the terms of romance, even if that woman happens to be a wealthy, successful, world-class beauty superstar who still managed to cook you and your whole family a Thanksgiving dinner. None of that shit matters. Women are not people. They're not humans. All the extra shit she does, those are just extra tokens that he can trade in and, you know, replace when necessary. Under patriarchy, women are not valued in a way that allows them to set expectations on a man's behavior regardless of what she brings to the table, no matter her looks, how many children she's had, her level of loyalty, whatever code words you might hear in the comment section on Lipstick Alley or your average male podcast. None of that shit matters if you are a patriarchal, high-value man that doesn't see women as equal to you based on gender. You ever wonder why so many male athletes and rappers date the same women? It's because this is a like weird homosocial thing, specifically between these types of high status, high value men. It's more like, you know, exchanging Pokemon and playing cards to them. It's not treating them as humans that they're having relationships with. It's being able to brag to their peers that they bag the baddest girls within their realm, even if like so many other aspects of that make little sense to regular dudes. But also regular dudes, we ain't shit either. Like, you know, shit can happen. You don't need to be a rich nigga to cheat on a girl. Like, it is what it is. But it still relates to the same framework. And this is, again, my experience, my perception. This is the B-sides, mental research. But I've always felt like regular men never cheat for external reasons. It never has much to do with their partner in question. Regular dudes cheat for an internal sense of validation. Men cheat when there's conflict in their personal life, whether the actual relationship is a problem or maybe their work life isn't going a certain way. And it's often because another woman provided them with a sense of relief or respite for whatever was troubling them, allowed them to not think about what's really bothering them. In my whole 40 years of life, I've never met a man who cheated with a woman who was more attractive or had more going on for her than the woman he was actually with. My personal experience, I'm sure some of y'all niggas cheat with only baddies, but just, I ain't seen it, just keeping it real. And this is related to the fact that men are taught that our access and power over women is emblematic to our manhood and the value of that manhood. And if you don't unpack that, it can lead to some complicated and problematic and nonsensical ways of relating to and seeing women. And in some extremes, it can have monstrous ramifications. Apart from these silly stories about cheating and pop stars, there's also been a lot of ugly stories of black men in the media murdering their wives and girlfriends, and in some cases even their children, with the most high profile case probably being the former politician Justin Fairfax. When you dig in closer to his story, it goes to the facts of him losing his career due to previous sexual misconduct, going through a divorce and likely losing the custody battle. So instead of taking that L on the chin and figuring out the rest of his life, he kills his then wife with his kids in the house. And yes, this does come back to issues around patriarchy and misogyny. When you research family annihilation, there's a lot of consistent factors. The most significant ones being socioeconomic factors. All domestic and intimate partner violence tends to be class-based for a variety of reasons. I do want to make sure I point that out up front because people often find it more attractive and compelling to skip the systemic part and focus on individual behavior. But in that regard, other individual factors like substance abuse, access to guns, higher domestic violence incidents, them being white, gotta remind some of y'all of that there's always a few of y'all in the crowd that need to be reminded of that. The very European nature of this
population
problem.
most likely to
Getting back
commit
on
violent
topic,
crime,
one interesting factor in family
white
size is often
cis
preceded by
men
dire
who are
economic
Christian
changes that hurt a man's
nationalists.
ability to play that patriarchal role that is idealized and standardized in society. It's men that are suddenly not high value, not breadwinners or providers that somehow decide that their entire family must go along with themselves because no one else deserves to live if they can't fulfill their patriarchal role. These are the extremes, along with the Epsteins and the Diddies and the Weinsteins and all those in that world. Those are extreme cases. And the problem with focusing too much on those extreme cases is that it allows us to create mental and social distance from the more benign everyday ways in which men harm women that is excused and downplayed, whether that harm is those extreme acts of violence or the public shaming of female victims of infidelity like Meg Thee Stallion, or acting like this is not something of interest or note that needs to be discussed or can reasonably just be gossiped about. It's really weird to me to see like a lot of these smell podcasters, these culture sports guys downplay the necessity to talk about Klay Thompson's behavior in his own words that he seems to know is an issue, especially since a lot of these dudes have been in that type of situation. Since a guy like Shaquille O'Neal has talked openly about how infidelity ruined his life, but somehow you don't want to engage with this. Not to mention the fact that for weeks, as I said at the beginning of the video, we were talking about Diana Rossini, who is low down. I won't hold you. This woman named her firstborn son, presumably with her husband, Michael. She named her kid, allegedly with her husband, after her side dude that she had been messing around with for at least a year before that son was born. That is a new level of scandalous. And if you were interested or entertained or amused by that, surely you can understand why we're talking about Klay Thompson and Meg Thee Stallion. Y'all the same dudes that if I put Jada Pinkett's face on the cover of the video and she said something else weird or new about Will Smith, we clicking right on the shit to come dog her out. But somehow we shouldn't care about celebrity stuff. This video's gonna do numbers.
Double
and y'all
standards.
Gonna comment and complain in the comment section. Y'all hate y'all
Sexism,
so much. Anyway,
patriarchy.
you can't understand why this is a story if you don't think it's important enough to discuss and you can't engage with the fact
Continuing
that I
the through line of men in patriarchy being able to be as like promiscuous as they want, and
this
women
is also
have
why
to
it was
be
really gross for
virginal.
Roland Martin, a friend of the aforementioned politician, to respond to his murder-suicide with calls to address men's mental health, but no engaging with misogyny and patriarchy because you're not really serious about men's mental health if that doesn't come into the mix. Like I made fun of Mike Vrabel's sinking counseling earlier, and don't get me wrong, dick rehab is lame and goofy, but I don't want to underplay the fact that for men to get out of this very self-destructive, family-destructive pattern and unpacking patriarchy and misogyny needs to be a part of it. It takes genuine self-reflection and emotional labor. When Meg talked in that post about Klay's mood swings, I believe her and I empathize with her and him in that regard. Again, these athletes are by design emotionally underdeveloped. And for someone like Klay Thompson, an elite of the elite, at the end of his career, it's probably hard for him to deal with that. He's probably going through some depressive symptoms, and maybe that did cause him to cheat. He still got to hold that L because he's a habitual baddie fumbler, but I get it. I get the idea of spending most of your adult life being the man and then suddenly have that really quickly taken from you. I've seen athletes go through that mild depression trying to figure out what to do with their life now that that dream that they had since they were children is gone before they reach middle age. When you see like Paul Pierce or some of these other basketball player podcasts talking crazy nonsense about how they were better than Michael Jordan in their day, like that's a part of it. These are men trying to find themselves apart from the gender identity that they had as elite ball players, but that still comes back to patriarchy. And if you purport to care about men and men's mental health and men's issues and saving the family and all that stuff, but you don't want to confront the role that men are taught to play, the patriarchal role that leads to misogyny, if you vilify feminism on the timeline and defend cheaters or abusers, if you are a woman who just wants a nicer, more wholesome patriarchy on your terms, then you are not serious. You are only really working to keep the system in place. Oh, sports. LeBron is on a run, ain't he? I'm from Chicago. I grew up watching Michael Jordan, but I never saw Michael Jordan throw an alley-oop to his own son in a playoff game. I'm just saying, that's got to count for something. LeBron's son is a Laker and Jordan's son is dating Scottie Pippen's 60-year-old ex-wife. I don't know. There's got to be some extra points given in that regard. So real talk, I did have some deep and meaningful conversations with pro athletes, such as the aforementioned Arian Foster and Aaron Mabin, two highly intellectual former athletes that had a lot to say about that experience and really about the world in general. And I did that in a video talking about the whole fiasco with Saquon Barkley a couple of years ago when him not getting a new contract from the Giants. It's relatively old now, but it's still relevant. It's a video I'm very proud of because it does get into those underlying racist frameworks that play into how certain positions are undervalued. It's here on YouTube, but sadly the NFL did force me to censor it in goofy and weird ways. So the only way for you to watch it uncut and without commercials is through my streaming service, Nebula. Let's talk about today's sponsor then. For those who don't know, Nebula is an independent streaming service that houses content for some of YouTube's most prominent and talented creators, but you're also getting a lot more independent content there as well these days. Docuseries, reality shows, travel shows, even narrative podcasts, along with stuff I can't talk about and stuff that I can talk about, like my own short form documentary on whiteness. You get access to all of this countless hours of exclusive content by signing up for Nebula. And in doing so, you're helping one of the only independent streaming services not owned by some mega corporation or conglomerate that's willing to host the type of content that we really need in the world right now. Because we are creator owned, we come to you directly for your support, so help out, click the link in the description or look for the QR code on the screen to sign up for Nebula today. Thank you to Nebula for sponsoring the video. I'm FD Signifier, and this has been Lightwork.
Incredible. We're gonna finish this video next week of Toni Morrison. Okay, this is a Megan Thee Stallion song that is about Klay Thompson, and you will see how much of an idiot he is.
My baby, my baby. Digging me down, spoiling me, driving me crazy. My baby, my baby. Digging me down, spoiling me, driving me crazy.
Ay, your nigga fantasy, my man reality. I had to lock in when I found out he could handle me. Some niggas call me extra, my nigga call me pressure. This shit be easy when you find somebody on your level. My niggas say my lady, he never say my bitch. Some niggas make excuses, he make that shit exist. Most niggas want attention, my nigga give me his. He know he a star, but he my biggest fan.
My baby, digging me down, spoiling me, driving me crazy. My baby, my baby.
Let me talk to you right quick.
Spoiling me, driving me crazy.
Ay, let's get the small talk and make some big moves. I know you feeling me, you know I'm feeling you. A very freaky girl. You heard what Gucci said. First I give you my number, then you give me some head. Don't need no GPS, I know it's going down. You got that Love Jones, baby, you 90s fine. I'm from Splash Time, you know I keep it wet. Might have gave him that good, but I gave him the best. Pop that pussy for your man, pop that pussy for your man, pop that pussy for your man, bitch. Pop that pussy for your man. Why you fucking people, nigga, need to find your own man, bitch. Pop that pussy for your man, pop that pussy for your man, pop that pussy for your man, bitch. Pop that pussy for your man. Why you fucking people, nigga, need to find your own man, bitch. My baby, digging me down, spoiling me, driving me crazy. My baby, my baby, digging me down, spoiling me, driving me crazy. He gets so deep in that pussy, it's like he looking for something, a tight squeeze, but he still gonna make his way through that tunnel. Yeah, I might bend over, but ain't falling for nothing. I turned this house into a home. I'm one hell of a woman. I'm so beautiful, gorgeous. He tell me every morning I'm the type of fine make a nigga run to that altar. Took me home to his mama, make him empty that wallet. He be running to that phone, fuck around trip when I call it. My baby, digging me down, spoiling me, driving me crazy. My baby. Let me talk to you right quick. Spoiling me, driving me crazy. Pop that pussy for your man, pop that pussy for your man, pop that pussy for your man, bitch. Pop that pussy for your man. Why you fucking people, nigga, need to find your own man, bitch.
That line.
For your man, pop that pussy for your man, pop that pussy for your man, bitch. Pop that pussy for your man. Why you fucking people, nigga,
Walking
need
his
to find your
fingers
own
while
man,
doing
bitch.
that. The slow-mo here.
Spoiling me, driving me crazy. My baby, my baby.
He's an idiot. Okay, the comments. Thank God she didn't mention his name in this song. Let's all just pretend the song is directed toward nobody. And still he played. Still. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so continuing along with this through line of the ruling class thinking that they're like being edgy, this song came out by Charlie XCX called Rock Music that I haven't heard yet. I wanted to watch it, listen to it on the stream. She tends to have this like messy party girl, chaotic branding, but she has been significantly quiet about all of the fascist happenings in the country. And I think that she has become much more afraid to actually speak out on political issues, especially as she has had this increase in fame and not wanting to ruin that. Like, she's had so many opportunities and has such a big reach to talk about what's going on, especially when it comes to like these ICE raids. Like, people are being kidnapped who look like her mom and sent to concentration camps. Like, she's half Indian, like me being part Indian as well. It's like, we have a responsibility to, like, especially if you have light skin and proximity to whiteness, to highlight what is going on, of being able to use that privilege in ways that brings notice to certain issues. And like, she could be doing that, but has not been. So like the anti-establishment lean that she has, I think, can be a little bit performative. It is much more anti-establishment and like cool and like punk, like, and rock, to actually be resisting the system rather than being a beneficiary and supporter of the system. Also misunderstanding the origins of rock, that especially Black people in America created rock as a form of resistance. Okay. That I find underwhelming. Charlie scaring the brats away. Welcome back, angels. That's referring to the people who are just new to the fandom and celebrating the people who've always been there. Okay. I don't know if we have time for this. We'll get into this next week. The history of cumbia music. This is, I'm not going to play the whole thing, an album that I heard at that bar that I was talking about, Lowrider Cumbias by Turbo Sonidero. Dedicated to ESSJ and all the East Side barrios in California and the barrios cumbiamberos in San Luis Potosi, Mexico City, and Puebla. Lowrider culture dates to the 1940s when young Mexican Americans in Los Angeles began lowering their cars to cruise in style. Starting in the 60s and 70s, the sound for these slow, styled-out crawls through the city was the oldie, whether it was the blissful harmonies of soul music or doo-wop. Lowrider Cumbias is the San Jose producer Turbo Sonidero's contemporary tribute to the music he heard while growing up. Just as his forebears tinkered with the hydraulics of their classic American cars, he retrofits classics like Gene Chandelier's Duke of Earl and Brenton Wood's Baby You Got It with modern parts, in this case, electro-cumbia rhythms. Excuse me. His work is cross-generational, taking on pride, what it means to have soul and what it means to bounce. Very cool. this song is Si Amo. If love. Yes, love. Skipping ahead just a little bit. Baby Fool, Little Pianist. Baby, you got it. Baby, you have it. Yeah, so very cool. Okay, I also heard McKinley Dixon for the first time at this bar, so giving a little bit of an overview. Apparently, his biggest inspiration is Toni Morrison, the writer. We're starting to read The Bluest Eye by her for a band book club, so...
Have the right to run. We twist our fingers into guns that get torn apart by the sun. You can't thrive when you only that nigga, cause the pride nigga ain't make it as last bell alive. When my grandma resides, same thing for the homies. If I speak her name, will it keep her alive? I'm so selfish. Both headphones in, don't want to hear cars coming. There's certain sounds when you get close to death, and I swear it sound like when she's done humming. Baby, I can't give you wings, but this chain on my neck is my power of flight, so you know what it brings. You can hear it sing, listen to it, orchestrate the way that we live, maneuver through the pain that they give. You stronger than what they say you is. Little man, this change will make you big. It'll change your life for better or worse. Make something of you before you get in the hearse. But then you my rival, so I know this hurts. Pray that change is a fraction of your worth. Chain so heavy, cause my chain so heavy. Chain so heavy, whole neck, keep the whole thing steady. My chain so heavy. Chain so heavy. Chain so heavy, whole neck, keep the whole thing, neck, keep the whole thing. Chain so heavy. Chain so heavy. Chain so heavy, whole neck, keep the whole thing steady. My chain so heavy. Chain so heavy.
This album art is stunning too. Gorgeous.
Bigger than that, nappy tonight, so you know it's a rap. My nigga never come back, so if I yell for, head to your lap. We ain't playing with that. We can afford to lose the dreams of this kid, cause it means see the that, but that means the food industries might have bees attached. The need to act at all times, cause
just
paranoia
like
got
the blending of styles.
Let's roll and laugh, circle the block. Which me and my niggas, cause it's from forever through fear.
Jazz and rap.
To those used to rain of bullets, the same, I'm feeling the pain.
Some R&B.
Comes from limited options, but mainly the nigga that seemed to pop in and pop him. Limited my niggas, limited options. Honestly, how could you stop him when you fall in love with the scenery and easily lose sight of where you need to be? Is keeping me. The story on my body somehow breathes a breeze so tight that it bleeds, it bleeds, it bleeds. Chain so heavy, chain so heavy, chain so heavy, whole neck, keep the whole thing steady. My chain.
Okay, amazing. Just in the interest of time, let's keep moving. So this is another song by him from the album Beloved Paradise Jazz, and these are all Toni Morrison songs, Toni Morrison books, so clearly inspired. Hannah Freed's Toni.
I'm crazy about this city. Daylight slants like a razor cutting the buildings in half. In the top half, I see looking faces, and it's not easy to tell which are people, which the work of stonemasons. Below is a shadow where any blasé thing takes place, clarinets and lovemaking, fists and the voices of sorrowful women. A city like this one makes me dream tall and feel in on things. Hep, it's a bright steel rocking above the shade below that does it. When I look over strips of green grass lining the river, at church steeples and into the cream and copper halls of apartment buildings, I'm strong. Alone, yes, but top-notch and indestructible. Like the city in 1926, when all the wars are over and there will never be another one. The people down there in the shadow are happy about that. At last, everything's ahead. The smart ones say so, and people listening to them and reading what they write down agree. Here comes the new. Look out. There goes the sad stuff, the bad stuff, the things nobody could help stuff. The way everybody was then and there, forget that. History is over. You all and everything's ahead at last. In halls and offices, people are sitting around thinking future thoughts about projects and bridges and fast-clicking trains underneath. The AMP hires a colored clerk. Big-legged women with pink kitty tongues roll money into green tubes for later on. Then they laugh and put their arms around each other. Regular people corner thieves in alleys for quick retribution, and if he is stupid and has robbed wrong, thieves corner him too. Hoodlums hand out goodies, do their best to stay interesting, and since they are being watched for excitement, they pay attention to their clothes and the carving out of insults. No one wants to be an emergency at Harlem Hospital, but if the Negro surgeon is visiting, pride cuts down the pain. And although the hair of the first class of colored nurses was declared unseemly for the official Bellevue nurses cap, there are 35 of them now, all dedicated and superb in their profession. Nobody says it's pretty here. Nobody says it's easy either. What it is decisive. And if you pay attention to the street plans, all laid out, the city can't hurt you.
Yeah, talking about Harlem. Incredible. Also, just honoring, slam poetry, very reminiscent of that, oral traditions that inspired slam poetry and rap. Yeah, that's McKinley Dixon. Okay, so I mentioned Riz Ahmed, that he is part of the show Bait. He's an extremely talented actor and musician. This is perhaps his most famous song, most recognizable song Englistan, because he is Pakistani and also English.
The referendum, or whether it's the barrage of anti-immigrant media coverage in the run-up to it, for some, the result has compounded a feeling of isolation, a sense of disconnection from the country they moved to.
This is England. God save the Queen. Now she ain't made for me, but she keeps my paper green. Plus we neighbors see on this little island where we're all surviving. Politeness mixed with violence. This is England, the bridge we're living in. A kitchery simmering, women in hijabs, syringe pop stars, and the promise of a patel as a man you star. Where the money you make and the man you are, standing opposite, so we drink too hard. The banks rob you and the news is half the truth, wrapped up in boobs and arse. Pigs hit kids so, bricks hit windows, and a high street burns with broken dreams and herb. Only thing you can't find in Tesco is that and a sense of worth. So hide behind the Benz or furs, go online to find friends or perf, but click the wrong site for a free trial, later detention first. God save the Queen, now she ain't made for me, but she keeps my paper green. Plus we neighbors see, on this little island, where we're all surviving, politeness mixed with violence. God save the Queen, now she ain't made for me, but she keeps my paper green. Plus we neighbors see, on this little island,
yes, showing Palestinian flags.
Politeness mixed with violence. Well, you can get famous fast for a day, or you can get bailiffs asking for pay. A-list to faceless, everybody plays, roll the dice, it's always snake eyes, mate. Racist beef, cakes and tea, all go together like do-re-mi. The hills are alive with the sound of music, gyro checks and schools that creak. Soon we're all gonna be moving east, Delhi and Beijing, make some room please, and the empire strikes back. But them sides are packed, save your seats, till then we just make the darkest beats. Create your parties and rave on our streets. Is Britain great? Well hey, then ask me, but it's where I live and why my heart beats. God save the Queen, now she ain't made for me, but she keeps my paper green. Plus we neighbors see, on this little island, where we're all
He's not saying baby, he's saying paper green.
God save the Queen, now she ain't made for me, but she keeps my paper green. Plus we neighbors see.
Okay, just so we can keep getting to things, I'll stop that there. Okay, this is a song that is Pakistani, part of nightlife, that is included in the show Bait, so called Zombo Zombo, and it's by Tafo, featuring Nahid Akhtar with Mehdi Hassan, not the Mehdi that's part of Zatea. Once again, Finders Keepers record is given unparalleled access to the EMI Pakistan vaults to bring you Life is Dance, the follow-up to 2010's critically acclaimed groundbreaking Lollywood cinematic pop compendium, The Sound of Wonder. Here you'll find fuzzy, scuzzy, twang happy, spaced out, and funked up Urdu grooves, complete with harmonium melodies. And driven by some of the most random factor, freakish, finger-numbing percussion that the Southeast Asian mainstream has ever had to offer. Above all, Lollywood soundtracks sound raw, reimagine some of the most action-packed Bollywood productions, which Lollywooders actively did, then fire the makeup departments, take away the special effects budget, and then improvise. The lack of gloss on a dusty Pakistani mini LP makes for truly experimental Eastern pop music. Yeah, bait.
Zambo, 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 zambo.
Yeah. Every one of their songs sounds like a mini album.
अब कहाँ मैं जाऊँ दिल किसे दिखाऊँ हाय अब कहाँ मैं जाऊँ दिल किसे दिखाऊँ हाय जाने कैसी ये मंजिल है हर चेहरे में एक कातिल है देखूं जिधर भी वहीं गम के बादल हैं छाए
Zambo, 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 zambo.
Yeah, I love that. But just to keep things moving so we can get to everything. This is another song that was part of the show Bait. Rani. And the singer is Mala Begum, I believe. Yeah, a song from Pakistani Punjabi movie Ucha Na Pyarda.
दिलो मन ले तेरी बन गई दिल जानिया असा लाड़िया तू निभानिया मेरे हाड़िया
So the actress is not singing, it's Mama.
दिलो मन ले तेरी बन गई दिल जानिया असा लाड़िया तू निभानिया मेरे हाड़िया ये मुहब्बता असा दिल तो ने बुलानिया दिलो मन ले
I love the dancing too.
मुद्दा तो मैनू तेरा इंतजार सी तेरे लिए दिल मेरा बेकरार सी प्यार अभी हुआ चाहिए अभी प्यार अभी
When I was a kid, we used to fly kites in Makan, Baraloa, Pakistan, and I listened to this song so many times. Now I live this song. Very cool. This is the first film someone saw. What a beautiful voice we heard in our childhood, which today's children are deprived of. Okay. Just to continue. Okay, I'll leave this as well, the origin of Qawwali music, which is what that is. So that we can continue along. We'll watch that next week. Okay, so this, actually, that wasn't Qawwali music. This is Qawwali music. Sorry about that. This is Sakya Arpila by Aubri Brothers. So apparently this song is about a man drinking in a bar. He is Muslim, technically not supposed to be drinking alcohol in the more traditional sense. And that he is finding God at the bottom of a glass. Finding God in some of your lowest moments.
साकी मैं गुलफाम की एक अपने नाम की और एक अल्लाह नाम की मेट दे पूरी तमन्ना इस दिले नाकाम की दे दर्द में सूरत कोई आराम की कोई घूट ही पिलवा मगर जोशे तमन्ना डाल कर एक कतरा दे मगर कतरे में दरिया डाल कर ऐसा कि तेरी
I'm here after watching Bait. Yep, that's me. Being a Bengal Hindu, I completely understood the song after some research. I must say this Qawwali is beyond deep and beautiful. I truly appreciate your faith. May the Almighty bless the singers and its listeners. Love from India. This is about devotion, not alcohol. If you can't understand the deep meaning of this Qawwali, then don't listen. I agree, this is a broadcast of Okay, just to keep moving on. This is some Iranian music by Irfan Tahmasbi called 1001 Shab, just so that we can get more culture humanizing during this moment of violent aggression against Iran.
یادت صد تا ترانه با چشات
how they have the crowd around them too. That it's about a communal experience. Okay, just to keep moving along. This is Maya Diab by Subu Gawa Medley. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but she is a Lebanese singer, also getting some Lebanese representation in here. People from Jordan, greetings from Turkey, Lebanon. Most of them are based on Bedouin poetry from various Arab countries. One of the most famous Bedouin dialects is the Jordanian dialect. Okay, cool. So this is Jordanian, and the artist, Maya, is Lebanese. Right? Oh, I already showed that. Okay. That's all I have time for today. I know that's more of an abrupt end. I don't have time for reading, but we'll get to it next week. And also get into the history of some of that music. All right. That's it for me. Thank you for being here. I will see you on Monday, hopefully. Have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.